tonight.
Chris Farino-Joseph on 92 minutes from a corner, and the Bolton fans have gone crazy.
Everybody knows the first goal is important in games, and if we can be clinical and defend our box really well. So that's the message to the players, just tidy up in the big moments.
The goal comes from Lewis Wing, who's been part of a really impressive central midfield unit.
I am confident that Reading's good days are ahead. I mean, all of this will be hopefully just a bad memory in the rearview mirror.
As soon as the games start, fans demand that you win football matches and you put a team out on the pitch which they're proud of, and ultimately that's what we want to do.
Listen, we were here last year, we lost 3 in a row in terms of in the season. We go to Wednesday to Bolton and we're trying to get results.
Gotta love the EFL, just got to. It's amazing.
TalkSport 2 welcomes you to the Tough Sheet Community Stadium, a place that's played witness to the heights of the Premier League and European football, along with the lows of financial strain and Bolton's tumble into the 4th tier. It's from the 3rd to the 2nd that they're hoping to move. Boss Stephen Schumacher makes 4 changes from the draw at Barnsley on Saturday. Jordi Osei-Tutu and Chris Marino come in. Ibrahim Sissoko gets his first start in Bolton colours, and Ethan Irahan makes his first league start. Captain Owen Toll drops to the bench with Josh Sheehan and Thierry Gale. No Josh Dacres-Cogley, but summer arrival Sam Dolby, the former Wrexham striker, makes the matchday squad for the first time after injury in pre-season. So the team, Sharman Lowe in goal, a back 4 of Osei-Tutu, Farino, Johnston the standing captain, and Conway. Irahan and Simons will sit in midfield behind Randall, Sissoko and Koji Ejubri the wide men, and Burstow up front. Reading finished directly above Bolton last season, having dealt with off-field turmoil before their eventual takeover this summer. They're on sounder footing now, but on the pitch they've looked a mile away from contending at the top. 5 changes in all to the loss against Wimbledon. Kelvin Abretha, Gerald Dorset, Derek Williams, and the 2 Brighton loanies Kamari Doyle and Mark O'Mahony come in. Andre Garcia, Matty Jacob, Michael Stickland and Ashkar Ahmed are benched with no place in the team. The striker Kelhin Ehibatioman. So the team, Pereira in goal, Dorset, Williams, Burns and Abretha the back 4. Wing the captain will sit behind Savage and Fraser in midfield. Cheriwa and Doyle the wide men, and O'Mahony will be leading the line. I'm Cameron Pope, and joining me tonight in the press box, a man who was playing his football here in Bolton just a few seasons ago, Cameron Jerome, the former Birmingham and Stoke striker and scorer of over 100 EFL goals. Cameron, good to have you here, and plenty of changes for both teams.
Pleasure, Cameron, thank you for having me. Yeah, plenty of changes for both sides, obviously the home side first, a couple of first league starts in there for Sissoko and Irahan, and obviously Sam Dolby, the first involvement for the squad for him, so they were looking to get him minutes, and hopefully we're looking forward to giving him some good service when he comes on.
We're building into the 4th game of the season for these 2 teams tonight, and it's been tricky for Reading what we've seen so far. They relied on other results last night to get them off the bottom of the League One table. We were chatting a little bit, me and you, before we went on air, and they put in such a good shift with everything going on off the field at the end of last season to come within 3 points of the playoffs. Not the start that we were expecting to see from them this season, but then there are mitigating factors when you've had that kind of situation.
Absolutely, under new ownership there's been a lot of changes at the football club this season on and off the pitch, so I feel like with the manager having the season he had last year, still got plenty of leeway in the bank there, in terms of he won't come under pressure from the ownership straight away, but it's going to have to start winning football matches and getting results pretty quickly.
Thanks, Cameron. Well, we kick off fast approaching. Let's get the latest odds with William Hill.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
And it's Lee Phelps we've got for the latest odds ahead of Bolton versus Reading. Good evening, Lee.
Good evening. Yeah, Bolton are the favourites here. You won't be surprised to know that. 8-15 in the 90-minute betting. The draw 3-1, and Reading. You guys have been talking about this pretty woeful start to the season. 4-1 they are. 3 defeats in League One. Bolton won 1, drawn 1, lost 1. Looking at these games, and I often like to look at the head-to-heads between teams, and sometimes it can be a little bit futile because managers change and players change, and I understand all that. But every so often, head-to-heads throw up a quirky thing that I can't ignore. The last 2 home games Bolton have played Reading both finished 5-2. I mean, go figure. just in case it happens again, it's 60-1, 5-2 tonight. Not saying it will, but I just thought I'd mention it. I think Bolton do win this game, though, and I think I'd chuck in both teams to score. I know Reading have found it hard to score goals, but Bolton aren't exactly shored up at the back. So I think Bolton to win, both teams to score. Yes is 19-10, so just a smidgen under 2-1, which is a lot better than 8-15. Look, if you're looking at those 5-2s as well, Dion Charles scored a hat-trick in last season's. Aaron Collins scored a hat-trick in the season before that as well. So I guess if you're looking for another hat-trick in a 5-2, you'd have to look at Mason Burstow. Obviously scored in the win over Plymouth. He's 6-5 to score at any time, 19-5 to score first. And I'll mention it, 22-1 for a hat-trick tonight. Seems unlikely, doesn't it? And if it's a 5-2, you two will be very happy with the action.
Well, we will be very happy indeed. So that's Lee Phelps from William Hill. That was an odds update thanks to William Hill. 18+, gambleaware.org.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with William Hill. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Now let's hear from the Bolton boss, Stephen Schumacher. His side had 17 shots in Saturday's 1-1 draw with Barnsley, and he's hoping they could be sharper in front of goal tonight.
Being clinical is important no matter what the style of the opposition. You know, we've felt in the first 3 league games that we've been quite dangerous with the ball. The Stockport first 45 minutes we were excellent, didn't manage to get the first goal. Against Argyle we didn't start the game particularly well, but got the first goal and settled everybody down. And then against Barnsley at the weekend we've had to come from behind, so when earlier on in the first half we had 2 massive moments there where we could have been ahead. So everybody knows the first goal is important in games, and if we can be clinical and defend our box really well and be clinical in the opposition's penalty box, then we'll have again a better chance to win. So that's the message to the players, just tidy up in the big moments.
Those are the words there of Bolton boss Stephen Schumacher. Cameron, what should the expectations be for Bolton, do you think, this season? Playoffs, automatic promotion push, what do you think is realistic?
I think a realistic season for Bolton would be a push towards the top end of the league, trying to compete to get into the playoffs. I don't think they're one of the outstanding favourites for the division. I think they've got a bit of a rebuild on their hands. I mean, I've spoken to 1 or 2 people close to the football club and they've talked about how happy they've been with the recruitment, 12 new additions this summer. You know, they've gone down the approach of youth, developing younger players, getting some athleticism and pace across the board. So we'll see how this develops for them this season.
You say about 12 new incomings, and that's a lot of new bodies to get used to, isn't it? So when you're a player in that sort of camp, you know, it can be quite hard, I imagine, to make those relationships. And starting in pre-season, you're all coming in at different times. Was there a time in your career where you've had a big turnover of players like this?
Yeah, definitely. There's been times in my career where I've been at football clubs where they've had a transition period where you've either got relegated or you're trying to consolidate in a division. And I feel like sometimes, like you alluded to there, you know, people will come in at different stages of pre-season. There'll be different fitness levels for the players. So yeah, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to gel and to form relationships on the pitch. But you know, the quicker you can form them, you know, obviously the better it's going to be for everybody.
Well, I was there when Bolton started their season. They were in the Sunday game on opening weekend. They played well against Stockport. They were beaten by 2-0. Did a rally in the first home game here, beating Plymouth, and then dropped out the Carabao Cup against Sheffield Wednesday on penalties, and then a share of the points against Barnsley at the weekend. So the full range of results for them so far. Let's hear from the other camp, then the Royals camp, and after Saturday's defeat to Wimbledon and following a tough start to the campaign, Reading boss Noel Hunt is still remaining positive.
Listen, we were here last year, we lost 3 in a row in terms of in the season, and we stuck together and we kept on working hard, and we came together as a group, as a team. That's what we're looking for now, and you know, we go to Wednesday to Bolton, and you know, we're trying to get results. Speaking about getting, you know, players in to help us in the top end of the pitch, and I think, you know, things are starting to click. We're getting better in terms of our performances. You know, we've seen a good one on Tuesday night. In terms of performance, there wasn't a lot wrong today. In terms of, they had 2 shots on target and 2 goals. That's the killer one for us at the moment, and we got to make sure we work hard to stop that from happening.
Well, Noel Hunt, who came in to take the job after Ruben Sayes departed midway through last season, and Cameron, despite the new ownership's arrival at the club, and we've got to remember as well, we're so fortunate we still have a Reading Football Club to watch on nights like this, because that wasn't a given at times last season. There is a bit of a feel-good factor now, but it's not going to last long if they continue to lose games, is it?
Absolutely not. Noel's done a great job since he's been appointed as the manager, under difficult circumstances, we've got to say. They've got a lot of young players throughout their squad, so it'll be interesting to see how they fare this year. They've not picked up any points as of yet, but the arrival of Derek Williams to add a little bit more of experience into that back line, a talker and a leader on the pitch, so that'll be something that hopefully keeping him fit and keeping him involved will be pivotal to their next couple of games and their chances of picking up points.
Well, the start of the season with just 6 senior players under contract. They were in a real mess off the field, and they've been busy as well. 10 senior incomings, 4 of them loaned, but they've lost some big players as well. They were hoping to keep fan favourite Amadou Mbengue. He's gone to Queen's Park Rangers. He turned down a new deal. Harvey Nibbs as well on a paid move to Charlton. He was a real player for them last season.
Yeah, definitely. Harvey Nibbs is a fantastic young player. Obviously he stepped up a level with Charlton and deserved his move to the Championship. But hopefully it's someone else's opportunity. They've produced a lot of young good players at Reading. They've got a great academy system, so it's another opportunity for another player to come and step up and show their worth.
Speaking of the players, they're out below us now at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. Bolton have exited the tunnel right down below myself and Cameron Jerome. Bolton in their traditional white jerseys. They've got dark blue shorts and white socks, and Reading in their chain strip will break to the right of where we're sat. They're in a sort of terracotta orange jersey, white shorts and dark blue socks. It's a deafening din. Most of it is coming from the stadium PA system, which has to be the loudest in League One, I can tell you. We're right at the back of the West Stand. Bolton players are making their way along the line of visiting players. The handshakes underway. A recap of the team news then. 4 changes for Bolton with Osei Tutu, Farino, Iran and Sissoko coming in. 5 made for Reading, who welcome back Abretha, Dorset, Omani, Doyle and Williams. I'll go through those teams for you in full once again, starting with Bolton. Going to be a 4-2-3-1 for them. Teddy Sharman-Lowe, the Chelsea loanee, in goal. A back four, Jordi Osei Tutu, Chris Farino, captain on the night, George Johnston and Max Conway. Ethan Irahan gets his first league start in sitting midfield with Xavier Simons. Joel Randall will be the attacking midfielder. Ibrahim Sissoko gets his first start, the Toulouse loanee, out on the flank with Brighton man Mario Kozia-Dubry, and it's a Hull loanee, Mason Burstow, who leads the line on his own. The substitutes for Bolton: Tyler Miller's the backup goalkeeper, Josh Sheehan, Sam Dolby, who will be a debutant if he comes in after injury, Thierry Gale, Aaron Morley, Owen Toll the captain, and John McAtee. As for Reading now, who have made their way into their own half of the field, the last team talks are underway. Joel Pereira is the goalkeeper, behind a back four of Gerald Dorset, Derek Williams, Manchester City's loanee Finley Burns and Calvin Abrefa. Lewis Swing wears the captain's armband in defensive midfield behind Liam Fraser and Charlie Savage. Wide men, Kamari Doyle of Brighton and Daniel Cherewa, the German brought in this summer from the second tier over there. And Marco Mani, another Brighton man, still waiting for a goal for his lone club, but he's featured in all 4 games before tonight, either as a starter or from the bench. He's in from the first whistle in this one. Jack Stevens, the backup goalkeeper, also on the bench for the Royals. Ben Elliott, Matty Jacob, Andre Garcia, the young talent, Michael Stickland, Mamadi Kamara and the young also Ashkar Ahmed. So Bolton are in position. They'll be playing from left to right, as myself and a former Bolton man, Cameron Jerome, look at it in this first half. As for Reading, from right to left, away from their fans, a small and hardy bunch of them away in a largely empty south end of the ground. It's a long old trip though, a good 400 plus miles on a round trip, and they will have their side attacking towards them in the second half, looking for a first set of points of the League One season. They were only 3 points off the playoffs last time out. Bolton missed it by a whole 10, but they were in the mix for much of the season. They recovered after losing Ian Evatt, their long-term boss, and under Stephen Schumacher now, in a first full season in charge for him, can they start to find their step? 4 points for them so far, and an exit from the Carabao Cup. We're waiting for the referee, who is Tom Reeves tonight, into his 5th season refereeing on the EFL, to give us the signal. And Charlie Savage, on receiving it, is the man to get us underway. Plays back into his own half, and both teams having managed just a single win so far this season in the league between them. We'll be looking to make a statement tonight as we complete match day 4 of League One action. There is one other game across the EFL this evening in League 2. Notts County taking on Shrewsbury, both winless. I'll keep you abreast of that as best I can. And the former Bolton striker Cameron Jerome is alongside me. And sometimes the midweek nights, Cameron, they can be difficult and lower gates than usual. Still a good atmosphere here ahead of kick-off.
Always a good atmosphere here at the Tough Sheet. Like you said about the midweek and the school holidays, early part of the season, it's always sometimes hit and miss in terms of fans attending, but the players won't mind that. You know, they'll be looking to get on the front foot straight away and get the ball rolling in terms of playing games.
And it's Bolton who do have the ball rolling. On halfway they are now. Left-hand side of the field is Max Conway, the far side as we look at it. Everybody in an orange Reading shirt is behind the ball. Always a strange one when teams are made to change half of their away kit. They've kept the home socks, so they're wearing dark blue socks with an orange shirt. They won't win any fashion awards at the end of season dinner. And a long ball from Bolton will go across the white line and allow Joe Pereira, all clad in yellow, to restart with a goal kick. And it's breaking the duck, isn't it, really, in Reading's situation, Cameron? Getting that first win, the first set of points. If you leave it later and later, as we saw with Burton at this level last season, who waited until November to get their first win and left themselves with a mountain to climb, you need to get those points on the board soon. Yeah, absolutely. It's crucial for any team in any league. Just that first couple of points that settles the nerves of the team down and the fans, and you can start getting your season underway from there. Goal kick taken by Pereira, gets the usual accompaniment from the home supporters. Bolton chesting on halfway. Free ball was taken by Charlie Savage, and now Daniel Cherrow away down the right-hand side for Reading and across into the penalty area, and it needed to be dealt with by Teddy Sharman-Lowe, the Chelsea loanee, diving, all in blue, and picking up for Bolton, and no harm done. He'll release a short and along the ground to George Johnston as Cherrow starts the meagre press, and Bolton can start from inside their own 18-yard box once again. We've played the first few minutes of this one. No action at either end properly. And Bolton, who impressed at times last season, but are still really to get going, can take comfort from the fact they've not been beaten in 90 minutes in their 2 games here. They did play out a 3-3 draw with Sheffield Wednesday in the Carabao Cup before going out on penalties. None of that tonight. And the point would certainly favour the side who are yet to get on the board. Reading have it now, 35 yards out from goal with Marco Mani. Loses it in his passing opportunity. Ethan Arahan up towards halfway, and there's nobody in a white shirt for him to find further up the field. So back to Joe Pereira it goes for Reading. This game yet to find its rhythm. And as a player, Cameron, especially one who's standing at one end of the field as a striker, what are you thinking here? Are you looking to get that first touch? Are you looking to bring yourself into the game? Absolutely, you just want early involvement, touches on the ball, maybe a run in behind, just try and stretch the defence, let them know that you're ready and you want him to run and pose a threat. I'm looking at Burstow there and looking at his movements. There's been one or two what have been knocked up to him, and he's not quite got hold of it yet, so he'll be hoping to get into the game soon enough. Well, Mason Burstow, not brought in from Hull on a season-long loan with a plan to make him the main striker for Bolton, but injury to Sam Dolby has meant that it's been he and he alone leading the line. Dolby now back in the matchday squad for this one. There is competition as Bolton have the ball on the edge of their 18-yard box, and giving away a poor ball to Liam Fraser that the Reading man couldn't control, and Bolton with a second chance can get this one away. Over halfway with Max Conway, got white shirts ahead of him. Ibrahim Sissoko wanted it. Chance the cross doesn't fall his way though, and Daniel Cherrow can win the ball back 20 yards from his own corner flag, and then it's fouled. An easy give for the referee, who's in black tonight. And Reading have a free kick on the fringes of their own defensive third. 4.5 minutes gone up the Tough Sheet on TalkSport 2. And it is 0-0. And don't forget, TalkSport 2 is your home of the EFL, and tomorrow from 5 p.m. you can hear the latest episode of the EFL Fan Network with Dan Fudge. He'll be joined by club-dedicated podcasters reacting to all of the biggest stories from across the 3 divisions. And if you missed the show tomorrow evening, it's available to listen back to as a podcast. You can find it wherever you get your pods or on the TalkSport app. Bolton have a throw in halfway inside their own half. Back to Sharman-Lowe it will go, taking his time over it. Man who won League 2 as a lone man with Doncaster last season. Managed to find Osei Tutu, who was set upon by orange shirts, and winning the throw-in for the visiting side is Jarrell Dorset. one of 5 back into Noel Hunt's team for this one. Been out since opening day, didn't want to risk him. And he's looking for a teammate, and a short option presenting itself in Charlie Savage. He opts to go long into the box. It's cleared by Bolton, back in by Lewis Wing, and there's nobody there in orange. And an easy gather for the goalkeeper. 5 minutes gone, 0-0.
Yeah, both teams just feeling each other out at the moment. A bit sloppy in possession, Bolton trying to play it from the back, and Reading are setting traps for them and turning over the ball. But, you know, Bolton have been looking to try and play through the lines with the players they've got at the front end of the pitch, with the pace and athleticism they've got.
Well, here comes Ibrahim Sissoko, wide out on the left-hand side, attacking, plays the ball through the middle for Mason Burstow, up towards the byline. Beat Finley Burns to it, tries to get the ball back to the edge of the box, cries of shoot for Sissoko, and he does so, and it hits the defender and cannons away off Lewis Wing. And there's a bit of fortune there for Reading. It's gone just the right side of the corner flag for them, so it's a throw-in rather than a corner. Bolton in the ascendancy, and no route through to goal for Ibrahim Sissoko. 0-0.
Much better from Bolton there. Ball up to Burstow, nice flick on, a little bit of an interchange, and then they get an opportunity from the side.
And here comes the crossing now, deep towards the back post, and attacking it, plenty of white shirts in the box. Jordi Osei Tutu was the nearmost to it. It arced towards the back stick, and couldn't contort his body into a position to get a strike on goal, and in the end it's out on a full for a Reading throw-in. So 2 chances, we waited 5 minutes for them, still no goals on TalkSport 2 between Bolton and Reading, and as you said, Cameron Jerome, Bolton just starting to bring the pressure now.
Yeah, definitely. They've just 1 or 2 little bit of moments there of quality where they've managed to find the spare man in the wide areas, and then they've delivered early crosses, which is what you want as a striker. Burstow will be begging for more of those.
So a throw into Bolton, Osei Tutu taking it, going short, and it's a conservative ball back from Mario Kozia-Dewberry into his own half of the field, as the Bolton fans start to pick up into song. Osei Tutu halfway inside his own territory, tried a quick ball down the flank towards Kozia-Dewberry. It was spotted well there by Reading's Savage. Up down the line comes Kamari Doyle with a cross that could have been threatening had there been more orange bodies in there. In the end it's run towards the opposite touchline. Reading have kept this alive with a breather back into their own half, and they've kept possession, but at the cost of plenty of territory. So Derek Williams, in from Major League Soccer side Atlanta United, former Blackburn and Bristol City man, starting in the heart of defence. The ball will go all the way back to Pereira in goal. No score, 8 gone. As Finley Burns and Derek Williams trade passes the 2 Reading centre-backs. Long ball from the latter upfield. It's up ahead of Liam Fraser, who was the most advanced option. And a moment there for Sharman Lowe, who had to race out of his box, couldn't use his hands, and half volleys to safety. It'll be a Reading throw, no score.
Nice little interchange from Reading there. Kept the ball up across the back, patient, and then found the runners forward. Yeah, nice little play there from Reading, get a bit of territory. And
they have this throw-in. 25 yards from the corner flag, far side there right, goes into the penalty area, only half a header clear from Bolton, and Cherrywood was underneath it, couldn't direct his header towards a teammate, and it's out on 1 bounce for a goal kick. This game yet to fizz into life for Reading. Bolton have been the more threatening. Chance for Ibrahim Sissoko, in on loan from Toulouse with an option to buy at the end of the season. He fizzed the shot into the shins of Lewis Wing. That's the closest that either side have come to a goal. And Bolton, who will see this as an opportunity to exit game week 4 with a respectable points total. 7 points from 4 games, I always think, Cameron, sounds much better than 4 from 3.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's early stages of the season yet, and teams are yet to find their top form and click into stride. So it's important, especially to win the first couple of home games, get a bit of confidence under your belt, get the supporters behind you, and then just try and build from there.
And we've seen some strong starts, and from sides you might not expect as well. Stephen is the only team with a 100% record so far, and their comeback win at Port Vale last night as Reading win a free kick just inside the Bolton half. Arcing his head towards the ball was Xavier Simons, left one in a little bit late on Lewis Wing. And so a free kick to be taken level with the edge of the centre circle. Bolton half of the field. Reading players scurry forward into attacking areas. You can see Derek Williams up from the back line to add a bit of presence. Bolton are setting a high line, aren't they?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. You can see the line Bolton have adopted there. It's, you're talking 10 yards outside the penalty box. They've been really, really brave with that high line.
And do they have the pace to deal with it? Free kick still to come. Referee's whistle has sounded. 0-0 in this one. into the penalty area it went. It was a Bolton header that managed to get it away. George Johnston it was. Reading will come back at them now, this time down the near side left with Doyle, who can't control against Osei Tutu, and Burstow's had to drop back to help with the defensive effort. He's won a throw-in, and Noel Hunt is right into the ear of the assistant referee. He was not in agreement. Bolton playing out from the back, and this time with more success. Joel Randall centre circle. He's got a bit of space to run into now. Options left and right. He's gone left towards Sissoko. Corner of the box onto his left foot, trying to navigate past Abrefa. Can't get there. We'll have to turn back towards halfway, where he brings in George Johnston. Reading have now recovered and got bodies behind the ball. They looked a little bit stretched for a moment there, and that's something that Bolton have done well so far. Cameron Jerome, they've found the space in behind the line that other teams might have struggled with. They're coming forward again now, edge of the 18-yard box. Again tries to shoot there and not heeded by George Johnston. Back towards the right-hand touchline. Osei Tutu dancing in, didn't find a white shirt at the end of it. And well, there's hardly a break in play when Bolton seem to have the ball. I've been so impressed with what I've seen from them so far. They're coming forward again. Sissoko at 0-0. In towards the 18-yard box, and Cozy Ejubari returns with pressure on him from wing. Out to the right-hand side now for Osei Tutu, who got a ball in towards the back post. Only half clear as well. Randall was underneath it, and now shouts to shoots, and headed as well, but always heading wide from the boot of Xavier Simons. He pulled at that one a little bit, and a period of sustained pressure doesn't end in a goal. It's Bolton 0, Reading 0.
Much more positive from Bolton though. Simon's there with the defence splitting pass between the lines to find Joe Randell, who took up a great position in the number 10 position. Then they fed Sissoko out wide. You just want him to be a bit more direct there. He's slowed the defender down and tried to do a couple of step overs, but you had him in a position where he could have really been aggressive with him and drove him into the box.
Well, the aggression coming from one side so far, attacking aggression. 12 minutes gone now, says the stadium clock away and to our right. Lovely modern arena. I think it's still modern if it's mid-90s. It's older than me anyway, but it's I would say around about 2/3 full tonight. Bolton, who've had tough times in recent seasons, but built well under Ian Evatt, twice reached the playoffs in this level before falling short last term. Looking to get back there again, and here's Osei Tutu cutting in from the flank inside his own half. Poor ball though. The wing has picked it up in the centre circle, and he too can't find a man. It was Cherewa who was waiting for it in the 18-yard. Doyle will have it now for Reading. Corner of the box, left-footed cross, diverted behind by Chris Farino, and out for a corner it goes. Reading's first proper stint forward, and they'll have a chance now from the set play to trouble Bolton from the first time. No score. 13 minutes have elapsed in this battle of two teams hoping to turn around their ailing starts to League One seasons. Plenty of orange shirts in there for Reading, all crowded around the 6-yard line. It's bent in towards Sharman Lowe, the goalkeeper, who came for it, flapped at it, missed it completely, and there's no harm done because it's a goal kick. 0-0.
Wicked ball in there. You could see there was two actual Reading players on Sharman Lowe there. I think there's only one marker for Bolton. There was half marking spaces, zonal, and then half was picking up men. But yeah, dangerous ball in, and the keeper did well to deal with that.
Well, I've seen you attack balls like that anyway. They just needed somebody on the end of it, and there was nobody there for Reading, so a bit more attacking intent might not go amiss from them. But they have now started to threaten as Bolton have a defensive ball to deal with here. It's sprung free from an aerial in the centre circle, and Xavier Simons has come away with it. Over halfway himself now into the feet of Osei Tutu. 0-0 on TalkSport 2. Down the right-hand flank he goes, near side for Bolton. Into the feet of Cozy Ejubari now, given no space to operate against Dorset. And Bolton have a throw-in, looking to keep the pressure on with Randall. Back to goal. Turns and brings it back towards halfway as we get the first sight of Stephen Schumacher, all in black, white trainers though, on the edge of his technical area. It's the tracksuit from Noel Hunt opposite him. And the home manager will be the happier manager so far. Abrefa in the right back position for Reading. Tried to clear up towards halfway. On the stretch was a Rahan for Bolton. Turns in on his right foot but can't get any further up the field, and will have to make do with passing back into his own half. Here's Farino for Bolton, put under pressure by Marco Mani, who we've not really seen get into the game so far, the centre forward for Reading. Cameron, your former position.
Yeah, it's been difficult. You know, the balls up to him's not been great. I mean, he's fighting two aggressive defenders there, and George Johnston and Chris Farino, so it's not been easy for him, but they'll be hoping to get better service to him and try and build up on some positions he gets himself into.
Oh, wild challenge in there from Mark O'Mahony. He was a fraction late to that ball. And the referee has come across here to the near side, first of all, to check that Chris Farino is okay, a man who has struggled with injuries in his time at Bolton. He got to the ball first, he'd flicked it through the legs of the Brighton loan man, and then O'Mahony had clattered into him. So it's going to be a yellow card. That's already out of the pocket, and after 15 minutes, no goals.
I think that's a classic case of not being involved in the game for 15 minutes, been slightly frustrated from the service you're getting. He's had a couple of battles there with Chris Farino, and he's come out second best, and then, you know, he's just been second to that ball there slightly late, and, you know, over aggressive, and it's a yellow card.
And he's put his team into defensive mode again. And well, they've not really left so far here in Greater Manchester, as Bolton prepare for this free kick. It's about 20 yards in from the right-hand touchline. Noel Hunt and his assistant Scott Marshall are right on the fringes of their technical areas now, offering instructions. It's not as high a line as we saw from Bolton earlier on. It's camped on the edge of the 18-yard for Reading. And here it comes from Ibrahim Sissoko, bent in towards the back post, kept alive almost there, it just needed a flick, nobody got it. Bolton thought there was a defensive touch, and by the way that Reading are clapping centre-half Finn Burns in the back, I think it might have been as well. It's gone unseen by the officiating team, so it's a goal kick at Bolton 0, Reading 0.
Yeah, I was just looking down there at Reading's technical area, going a bit animated there. There was a little bit, you know, disappointed with how deep Reading were. Their starting position was really, really poor. We'd expect them to be a lot higher from a position like that.
What are you trying to do with that high line? It's always been, they're quite rare to see, especially at this stage in the game particularly, but we've seen Bolton go to it. And I'm going to break off here actually, because Cozy Ajuba is coming forward down the middle, tried to get a ball out to the left hand side for Sissoko, didn't get the accuracy right, straight to the goalkeeper. It remains 0-0.
I think with a high line for me, you know, this makes it harder. You know, the execution of the free kick has to be on the money every time, and the run has to be expertly timed as well. So yeah, there's just a lot more what can go wrong with a deeper line.
Bolton battling for it just inside the Reading half, and they've got a free kick actually. Sissoko was held, he appealed, arms outstretched to the referee, who took a moment there, Tom Reeves, and gave it. Now Bolton into the centre circle, they've gone back here. And a risky ball played out to the near right-hand side as well. Kamari Doyle got a touch on it. In the end, though, it does allow Osei Tutu to let it run for a throw, which will take back into his own half. It's 0-0 on Talk Sport 2 between Bolton and Reading, and it's Transfer Insider over on Talk Sport at the moment, by the way. And we've had word that Arsenal might be making a move for Ebere Eze. Go over to Talk Sport to find out more about that. Bolton coming forward now into the penalty area. Max Conway it is in the left boot. Back to Sissoko. Now into the right foot. Corner of the box. Crossing towards the back post. Osei Tutu. Was he being held? Bolton fans thought so. He's managed to free himself and pick up the ball. Back towards the 18-yard box. Simons was waiting for the ball to come to feet. He dallied too long. And Reading got in there quickly with O'Mahony and managed to clear their lines. Still more threat from Bolton. No score in this game. They're coming forward again actually. Conway is halfway inside Reading territory. Inside he goes towards Simons. Now looking for an aerial ball. It's found its way to Cozy Ajuba. Just inside the right hand touchline as Bolton look at it. Back to halfway for Farino. And again Reading with everybody behind the ball. They've had to do much of the defending in the opening 19 minutes. And Bolton now looking for that clinical touch that they've been missing in recent weeks.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of hit and miss for them this season. You know, obviously having a lot of attempts at goal in the game on Saturday at Barnsley, but not quite having to output what they desire.
Long ball forward from Sharman Lowe, and he's picked out Osei Tutu. It's gone 90 yards downfield, that ball. Osei Tutu was battling. He thinks he's won a throw for his side, and he's got a shock as he turns around and sees that the assistant referee's flag was facing the other way. So a throw-in well won by Jarrell Dorset. And he's going to try and take it from the edge of his, or level with the edge of his own penalty area. Now he's been pulled back by the assistant referee. Still no goals in this game. Coming up to the 20-minute mark at the Tough Street Community Stadium on TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. Cameron Pope and Cameron Jerome on commentary. Little in the way of goalmouth action so far. Seen just the one major chance. Ibrahim Sissoko for Bolton, shooting from the edge of the area into a busy box and only finding the legs of a defender. As Bolton look to mount another attack down the left this time, Sissoko has thought better of it and gone back into his own half. Here is Simons, into Farino, back into the side after watching the last couple of games from the bench. It's Sharman low now. Goalkeeper goes long up towards halfway where Conway has got some space. Gets the ball past Fraser as well, and now developing play here nicely with Randall. Burstow's waiting in the middle. Randall wanted the 1-2. It doesn't quite come off in the boots of Conway. Reading had got the ball inside their own penalty area, and Burns didn't know what to do with it for a moment. He had Burstow right behind him, thought about going to his keeper. In the end he cleared it, and that was the right option. Still 0-0, Bolton coming forward again, and but for a missed step by Randall, who slips as he tries to play into Sissoko. They could have been in again. Home fans are in full voice. 0-0, they're certainly the better team so far.
Yeah, you can hear the fans now getting right behind the team as Bolton start progressing down that left-hand side, especially with Sissoko and Conway. They're making two good connections down there. Joe Randell's getting involved from the 10 position as well, so that looks definitely like Bolton's favourite side to attack at the moment.
And they're coming forward again, this time down the other side though. Into the attacking third now with Cozy Dewberry. Impressed with Blackburn on loan last season. He's actually dropped down a level this term and enjoying his football tonight. He's seen a lot of the ball. Whips it out to the left-hand side now for Sissoko. Bolton fans appreciating that. Sissoko turning to his left foot, getting a crossing, and Randall was going for the volley, headed away by Reading, who are living by their wits at the moment, really. Mainly defensive for the first 22 minutes of this game. We're coming up to the halfway point in the first half. Only really one corner to show for their attempts to get out of their own half. They're having to defend again because Conway coming forward this time. Sustained pressure from Bolton. Are they going to find a result at the end of it? Sissoko forced back away from goal. It's been a good containment job from Reading. We have to give them that, I suppose.
It has done. You can see they're blocking up the middle area. They're not letting them go through the central part of the pitch. They're making them go wide. They're making them go to the left, and they're happy to defend 1v1.
Sissoko again, left edge of the penalty area, into Randall in the yellow boots, and he shoots and didn't get all of it. It's got right underneath the ball, and it fizzes through the air away from the goal of Pereira. So a dead ball, and a chance maybe for Reading to catch their breath.
No, definitely. You can see Williams there instructing Pereira. Is he just saying slow the game down a little minute? I mean, he's come there to take a short one, but Pereira's signalling to say we're going to go long. So, that eats up a little bit of the clock, and it can allow Reading to communicate and reset themselves on the pitch.
So Pereira preparing for the goal kick in the right-hand corner of his box. He stayed at Reading despite offers from the Championship, and settled home in English football. He struggled with Huddersfield Town in his previous stint in the Championship. He's cleared this one long over halfway. Bolton will send it back the way it came, but it's a simple ball for Derek Williams to deal with, sending back to his number one. He'll receive again, brings it out of the penalty area, and now into Dorset, tight to the left-hand touchline, attacking for Reading now with a long ball up towards Omani, who he can't find, and he was doubled up on by the two Reading centre-backs, Farino and Johnston, and a comfortable ball for Sharman Lowe. You're listening to TalkSport 2, where it's Bolton 0, Reading 0. This game completing the fourth round of games in League One. Both of these sides contending for playoff places until the end of the season. The final day of the season in Reading's case, both falling short and both still flattering to the sea for the most part this season. Reading without a point from their 3 league games so far. Just that one win in the Carabao Cup away at Portsmouth, just the 1 league goal. And so the problems are starting to mount in the early season for boss Noel Hunt, and they might be mounting again here. Bolton have come through the middle to Randall, 45 yards out. Sissoko, left edge of the area, cutting in onto his right boot and going for the shot with the right foot, slammed into defender. And I think it's Finn Burns who's taking it straight in the breadbasket. He looks winded, he's had to get up and clear the second time. Out to the edge of the area, Omani heading away. And they can't seem to properly clear their lines, Reading, and get some respite, because Conway is coming down the left flank again. Sissoko, edge of the attacking third, back towards halfway, and again 11 Reading players behind the ball at 0-0 with 25 minutes gone. Here's Cozy Dewberry, one step inside to find his ball to Osei Tutu. We'll have to go back now again, and we're seeing this time and time again now. Bolton are getting the ball into the attacking third, right to the edges of it. Progressing has been the issue.
Yeah, most definitely. Reading have frustrated them in that part in terms of not letting them go through the pitch. You've seen some clever passes from Simons finding Joe Randall in the pocket, but they've not been able to progress further down the middle from that, they've had to go into wide positions.
And here they are in a wide position again with Cozy Dewberry in onto his left foot now. He's got away from 2 midfielders, brought in Burstow with his back to goal. Osei Tutu on the right side of the penalty area, back towards the corner of the box. It swung in dangerously and Sissoko was there and he got ahead to it, and he can't angle it back towards goal. It's out for a dead ball for Reading. And still no goals in this game, but that was an opportunity there. Swung towards the head of the Dutchman, the winger, in off the flank, corner of the 6-yard box. Couldn't get enough purchase on it to trouble Joel Pereira, and it remains goalless at the Tough Sheet.
Chance, you'd say that was a big chance. You know, if he was a striker there, back in my head there, I'd be begging for a ball like that. And you know, it was a brilliant ball in there by Arach, and it was a nice position what he took up, but it's just a poor execution of the header there.
Well, it's the qualified opinion, Cameron Jerome's over 100 goals in the EFL and over 30 in the Premier League as well. You finished your career, Cameron, at Bolton. A trip to Wembley as well, some happy memories?
Yeah, 2 happy memories with Bolton at Wembley. You know, one in the Old Papa John's Trophy, and you know, an unfortunate one in the playoff final defeat to Oxford. So yeah, happy times in terms of getting to Wembley, but you know, unfortunate the second time we couldn't manage to win promotion.
0-0, long ball for Reading, won't pick out Kamari Doyle. It was hopeful rather than precise. And so with the clearance from Sharman Lowe, Reading will start again. And I think that reminds us just how difficult this division can be. Bolton off the pace last season, they're on the pace now, coming forward with Randall. Stands on the ball, 25 yards out from goal, waiting for Conway down the left flank, and he crossed in towards Burstow, who was beaten to it in the air by the centre-back Williams. And so it's out for a Bolton throw-in, 27 minutes gone. And here's the pressure going to tell. Now there's a problem here for Pereira, who's gone down in goal, and the Bolton fans haven't taken kindly to that. There is an increasing phenomenon, or it's been claimed, that goalkeepers are going down now to start breaks in play, but you have to take it seriously if you're the referee, and so the medical staff are on to treat the Reading goalkeeper, and it comes at a juncture where Bolton were looking strong. 0-0, we're into the 28th minute.
Yeah, absolutely. More teams are doing that tactic at the minute, you know, where, I mean, you know, the last 2 or 3 years it's becoming more evident that teams are using it as a tactic. You can see that, you know, the referee has to stop the game when especially when it's a goalkeeper down. So you know, a lot of teams are doing that to reset themselves. The manager might bring everybody in like both sets of managers have done now, and give that little tactical tweak and give little bits of information that you can't quite reach when you're on the sideline. So yeah, it's sometimes it's purposely done.
We've got a lot coming up for you on Talk Sport in the coming days. We've got action returning at the weekend. There's no action for the moment in this one. Pereira's back up on his feet, by the way. That's the reason for the boos from Bolton fans. Both sets of outfield players have come across to the near side touchline to exchange some wisdom with coaches. But looking ahead to the weekend, we've got a Talk Sport exclusive for you on Friday. West Ham hosting Chelsea at 8 o'clock. And we'll have Derby versus Bristol City in the Championship on Talk Sport 2. And then Saturday lunchtime, Manchester City versus Tottenham on Talk Sport, while Charlton host Leicester in the Championship. Both sets of players are back on the field now, and he's up and bouncing around Pereira in his goal, which has not gone down well with the Bolton Wanderers supporters. And their side will start again with a throw-in from the edge of the Reading penalty area. They've lost some of their momentum, and well, we don't know whether it was a genuine injury or not. The consensus among home supporters is that it's a shade of gamesmanship, but whatever it is, it's 0-0, and Bolton have been the better side so far. 2 chances now falling to the new man Ibrahim Sissoko on his first start, a header at the back post that he couldn't guide within the confines of Pereira's goal, and a more speculative shot from the edge of the area that was blocked by Lewis Wing. Sharman Lowe has gone long from goal and out on the full, so a Reading throw-in as the half hour approaches on Talk Sport 2. And Jarell Dorset looking for a short ball, which he'll find with Wing. Forward into the attacking third, which is a rare foray forward for Reading, and they'll lose it now because Liam Fraser has gone bundling into the back of his man. Long ball downfield by Bolton, who aren't hanging around. Here is Sissoko. He's halfway inside the Reading half. Needed some support, didn't get it in time, had to double backwards, and Xavier Simon sliding for the ball has lost it. And so Reading will send the ball all the way back down the park where Sharman Lowe is waiting for it, and yet to really be troubled between the sticks for the home side. Out to the left-hand flank he goes. Picked up by Sissoko, and now he's got Conway overlapping, who's ridden the challenge well. Won't ride the second challenge. That was from Lewis Wing, who did well to pick up the ball and stifles another potentially strong Bolton move from Brewing. We've seen him this season, Lewis Wing, the Reading captain, in a rather deep role. It looks effective there to me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's 2 or 3 times there I've noticed that he's broke up attacks brilliantly. He's covered the ground there from that central position and gone out into that channel and covered that channel really, really well. Impressed with that work.
So it is 0-0. We've had half an hour of this game so far. Bolton keeping the pressure on, but are yet to be able to do anything with all the pressure that they've had. So no goals. There are 3 goals in the League 2 game tonight. Notts County are leading Shrewsbury by 2-1. Both of those sides looking for their first win of the season, as are Reading in the league, and they've got a throw in Bolton's side of halfway, taken by Abrefa. Can't turn into any space, but he got a little nick off the shins of Randall and throws up towards the 18-yard box, where Cherua flicks it on into the path of O'Mahony, trying to hold it up now, the young Brighton man. Can't turn into an attacking position. He did manage to force a clearance out of Conway, and Reading trying to keep the ball at the other end of the field for the first time in a while. Picked up by Abrefa, right edge of the penalty area, crosses into the box, but there weren't enough orange shirts forward, and it's a routine catch for Sharman Lowe. 31.5 minutes gone now, still no goals. Long ball forward from Randall over the top, and there was a chase on for a moment for Ibrahim Sissoko. He's quick but not that quick, and Pereira's gather is followed by a cacophony of boos from Bolton fans, who haven't forgotten the little stoppage as he went down during a promising Bolton pattern of play. No goals, Cameron Jerome.
Yeah, Pereira certainly looks fit with that little race he won there with Sissoko. He was definitely on his feet there, but Sissoko's been an outlet for Bolton. Every time they've got the ball to him, something promises has happened, so they've got to try and get it to him as much as possible.
Xavier Simons trying a tricky ball through the middle. Actually, he played it off Burstow. It cannoned out into space on the left flank. Oh, and it's been won by Sissoko as well. He's pinched it off the defender, and Randall into the penalty area, trying to go for goal. Angle was against him. Hit it on the half volley, and it curves harmlessly over Joel Pereira's crossbar. So 0-0 and a goal kick to Reading.
Yeah, it looked like he was caught in 2 minds there, Joe Randall. He's made the box wall there. He's took the ball within his stride in the box, but it looked slightly off balance, slightly unsettled. He was in 2 minds whether to hit the ball or try and cross it there.
And so cleared by Pereira. His side been under the pressure, and Bolton still unable to break them down. They've got a free kick though, the home side. George Johnston fouled as he went up for a header with O'Mahony. And so we'll take this one a few steps inside his own half. There's relative calm now around the Tough Sheet. Haven't heard much out of the travelling Reading support, I must say. There's probably 200 or 300 of them away to our right. A long old trip on midweek, and they've stuck through their side through thick and thin over the last couple of seasons, and their side are having to contain so far. Abrefa trying to deal with a long ball over the top. He's been helped out by the assistant's flag against Ibrahim Sissoko, who was right behind him, and Reading will start the game again from inside their defensive third. And if they can get to half time having not conceded, that's got to be a massive plus for Noel Hunt going into the dressing room.
Absolutely, I think he would have topped that before the game. I think he would have said to the players, look, try and take the sting out of the crowd, try and slow the game down at every opportunity, and limit Bolton to going through central areas, which we know they like to dominate. Being a possession-based side, they like to go through the middle of the park, so force them wide, make them cross. They've not got no target man, so we should be able to deal with whatever's coming in from the sides.
Bolton starting again from Sharman Lowe. Hits on the right boot up towards halfway. Cozier Dewberry was waiting for it, and that was the issue. He allowed Dorset to get in ahead of him and play. Then he's fouled legally by Osei Tutu, so a throw-in to Reading just shy of halfway, right in front of a pensive-looking Noel Hunt. His first full season at the Reading home, and a difficult one it's proven to be in the opening weeks following that takeover. Well, the former Wycombe chairman, Rob Cooing, that struggle under the former boss, Di Younger, or former owner, that ended last season. And so brighter skies on the horizons, but in footballing terms they are finding the going to be difficult, and that was a poor ball by Dorset down the line. It's gone straight down on the full for a Bolton ball. And you're listening to TalkSport 2, where there are no goals between Bolton and Reading. Sharman Lowe inside his own penalty area, clears on the right boot, this time going cross-field towards Sissoko. That's a fabulous touch as well. He took it down on his instep and then was forced into making a quick lunge for the ball as Abrefa came across. And Abrefa, having got the block in, has ended up in a heap. I think he's collided with the advertising hoardings. He's managed to win a throw-in for his side and is gingerly picking himself back to his feet. No love lost between him and the Bolton fans who are right behind him. And so a throw into Reading with half-time 10 minutes away, as Stephen Schumacher has got some words in his ear from Richie Kyle, his assistant head coach. Stands hands on hips in his technical area, waiting to see if his side can find a breakthrough, which has proven elusive so far despite much sustained pressure. Here's Burstow with his back to goal 30 yards out, muscled off it by Finlay Burns. Reading's clearance comes straight back at them. Lewis Wing's got a chance to clear this time and puts more air into his ball. Once again, it's a familiar story. Bolton will pick it up, and also 2-2, not allowed to get away from Kamari Doyle. He was held there, an obvious free kick. And Bolton look to set about manning their most recent of a number of attacks. 9 to go until the break, 0-0 at Tough Sheet Community Stadium.
Yeah, Reading, like we just said a minute ago, Reading were really pleased with this. They managed to contain Bolton a little bit. Bolton, they need to be a little bit more patient, I feel like, provoke the press a little bit more. Reading look like they're pressing in ones and twos. They don't look like they're, as a team, moving together up the pitch. I feel like if Bolton was to be a little bit more patient at times and build and have better patterns, they could really pick off this Reading side.
Here comes Osei 2-2. Oh, poor touch from him. Crossfield ball came his way. It cannoned off his shin and out for a goal kick to Reading. So a let-up for the away side, who are doing all of the defending in this first half, which is 37 minutes old. 0-0 on TalkSport 2, and they're a little slow, Reading, through Dorset and getting the ball back to their goalkeeper for the goal kick, hence the booing. Bolton fans have got no time for such antics, and Reading playing their part in that typical role of an away side who have had a tough start to the season, slowing down the play, frustrating, and they've managed to break up the rhythm so far as best they can. They'll clear from deep in their defensive lines up towards Doyle in the centre circle, out to the right hand side now. Cherryworth, he's got Omani in the middle and crossing, looking to find him. Right angle on the cross, not the right power, and Sharman Lowe can gather, and then in one movement bowls out to the right hand side as Bolton look to counter at 0-0. Into Kozia Dewberry, has to double back towards Osei 2-2. Reading have dealt with the initial danger. Saw them get forward again there, Cameron, and they've got it in their arsenal as well. Cherryworth on the right hand side, he's quick, he's looking to find Omani, but chances are so few and far between. That's really when you need your centre forwards to be at their clinical best. They might be feeding off scraps tonight.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that's going to be the case, and for both sides really. Burstow's not really got into the game that much, and when he has done, it's been a little bit scrappy. The quality needs to be better from the wide areas to give the centre forwards every chance to get an end of things there. It was a wonderful opportunity for Reading there. It's one of their first breaks up the pitch, and you'd just like to see a bit better delivery coming into the box and giving the striker something to really go out, and it made it more favourable for the goalkeeper to come and collect that there.
Bolton having to start from square one with Sharman Lowe. Short ball to Johnston, standing in as captain tonight with Owen Toll on the bench with a knock. Crossfield ball to Osei 2-2. This time he does control it. Now Kozia Dewberry on the edges of the attacking third for Bolton at 0-0. In from Simons into the penalty area. It's going to be too high for Burstow. And chasing after it, Sissoko, who's been the busiest man on the pitch so far. Best chance of the game for him too. Back to the edge of the area with Arahan into the penalty area now with Randall, and turning and went down and looked at the referee. He was up against the defender Burns. I don't think there was much in the challenge. Wing was in there too. And Bolton coming forward again. Corner of the area. Sissoko crossing right-footed this time. Away by Wing, who's had a lot to do in his own penalty area. And his clearance was held up by the wind actually, so it stayed in play. And that's benefited Bolton with Conway, who can go back to halfway, but the pressure is continuing. 40th minute of the game, still no goals. Kozia Dewberry, 30 yards out, shaping for the shot off the base of the post, and it cannons back into the penalty area. And Abrefa has to swing the ball away. It's lucky for Reading it came to him. Bolton coming forward again, having rattled the frame of Joe Pereira's goal. Into the centre circle, they're forced back with Farino. That's energised the home fans now. They've had a sight of goal, One time too many, and are really starting to threaten the Reading back line now. Here comes Kozia Dewberry, in off the flank and shoots, deflected. Did it come off its own man? No. And out for a corner it goes, and Bolton's most potent spell of the game so far, Cameron Jerome.
Yeah, the referee just gave a goal kick there. It looked like he was giving the corners to start with, but he's changed his mind there. But definitely Kozia Dewberry starting to take interest in positions. He doesn't really play wide as a winger. He's sort of an inverted winger, and the width comes from Osa Tutu. So it's interesting the way they link up there on that right hand side, but definitely looked threatening there a couple of times, getting it on his left foot and hitting the post there. But wonderful effort to start with.
Bolton still pressing, and they'll come again down the right hand side with Kozia Dewberry, and he's got an overlap with Simons, who will use Burstow in the middle. It was a ground cross he went for though, and he played it straight at wing. And Reading clear up to halfway where Omani goes down, and that's a really well won foul. Proper centre forward behaviour.
Absolutely great centre forward play there. He just managed to get the pin on Chris Farino there, and that'd be brilliant for Reading to get up the pitch just on the halfway line there, and 5 minutes before half time. Definitely needed a breather, give his team a little bit of a reset, and can they lump one forward to him again, and can someone get closer to him this time to win a knockdown?
It's still Bolton 0, Reading 0. Reading will see this as a minor victory if they can emerge for the second half unscathed. We've seen a shot cannon back off their post. We've seen Ibrahim Sissoko come close from the left flank on numerous occasions. And they've done everything but score, Bolton. That's been the issue. Here comes Jarrell Dorset with the ball down the flank, left flank this time for Reading, but it's again an inaccurate ball. He's played a few of those, and Marco Mani was offside as well, and so Bolton, without having to lift a finger, have got the ball back. So Sharman Lope scurrying across his penalty area. Almost feels here for Bolton that there's a little bit of urgency in the final few minutes. It's as if they recognise they've had the pressure, need to do something with it before the change of ends. Forward now comes Osei Tutu, out to the right hand side, Kozia Dewberry. He hit the post a moment ago, this time crossing, shout of handball against the defender, out towards the edge of the penalty area. Shot came in from Osei Tutu, nothing given by the referee, and Reading will clear their lines again, and it still remains 0-0, Cameron Jerome.
Yeah, another let off there for Reading. Bolton a little bit sloppy there in terms of the decision making around the final third. They're getting themselves into some good opportunities. They just need to have better delivery and better decision making there. You've seen it a couple of times with Simmons earlier before, and then Osei Tutu trying to take a shot on his left foot there. Just that little bit of composure in that final third could really open this Reading defence up.
Oh, a poor ball through the middle from Randall. It needed more air on it. It was coming out towards Kozia Dewberry. Played it straight to the defender. He's got chance to atone here. He controls on his knee, and then is fouled by Kamari Doyle. And the referee says that's one too many from you. It must be an accumulation job. Couldn't see much wrong with that one challenge in isolation, but Kamari Doyle has gone into the referee's notebook. And we have just 2 minutes of first half normal time remaining, and a chance for Bolton Wanderers to make good on the promise that they've offered in the first 45 minutes, or almost 45. Hit the post through Mario Kozia Dewberry. Ibrahim Sissoko has had a couple of chances as well. And they'll have this free kick to be taken by Sissoko. 20 yards inside the Reading half, wide out on the right hand side. As Reading form their line outside the edge of their penalty area. There are a couple of short options available here for Sissoko as well. This one's destined for the penalty area. Lovely flat delivery, skims away off a defensive head. Burns it was, kept in as well by Derek Williams from going for a corner. Bolton looking to make this pressure count. It's taken them all half to break Reading down. They had to go back to halfway with Simons. This is Conway now, the left back. And now the deepest lying white shirt, because Bolton have been forced back to halfway once more. Here's Farino. And picking it up is Irahan. Man in from Lincoln in the transfer window. He's looking to find a man in an advanced role, and there's nobody there for him. Everybody behind the ball again for Reading. And they're shutting off those passing avenues. And at 0-0 after 44 minutes, Bolton will come forward again. Osei Tutu right flank, flicked the ball into space. Nobody on the end of it. He can't get after it. And it's a goal kick and another escape for Reading.
Yeah, he's been really poor, Osei Tutu, for me, down this right hand side. He gets himself into such wonderful positions. His link up with Kozia Dewberry has been not bad, but it's just his final product and his decision making, that final third. He keeps letting Reading off the hook time and time again. And it's just another break in play for Reading. A goal kick, another little bit of minutes wasted off the clock, and Reading will be happy with that.
And what I've just found interesting is we thought that yellow card had gone to Kamari Doyle. I said at the time it didn't seem to be for that foul in isolation. Well, it's not. It's gone to Charlie Savage for having kicked the ball away in protest at the decision. Referee's clamping down on that, so it's Savage who's gone into the book to join his teammate Omani as we enter into 2 added minutes at the end of the first half, which has warranted no goals so far. Kozia Dewberry tight to the touchline, cuts it back inside towards Simons, and again, same story for Bolton. Can't get the ball forward, have to go back to halfway, and they're made to start again. A frustrating first half for them. There is still time, 90 seconds or so, in which to find a goal. Simons again forced to pass backward. It's like watching rugby league at times. Out to the left-hand side it goes to Conway. He too is going to be forced to play back into the centre circle. Reading still shutting off those angles. They've contained Bolton well in this half, and they may have another minute to go. Farino, right centre-back, into the feet of Osei Tutu. The pace has dropped just a little bit now, and he's grabbed there by Kamari Doyle, who wasn't booked a minute ago. He might be now, especially because he's standing over the ball, and the referee is going to give him a final warning and send him on his way. So final minute of the 2 added. Noel Hunt still passing on instructions from his technical area. Irahan centre circle, out to the left hand side. Sissoko, we've seen those orange boots working hard so far. Corner of the box, left footed cross is fielded away from goal by Burns, picked up by Bolton again. Irahan into the space, looking for Conway, didn't find him, and a breathless clearance is blocked out for a Reading throw-in, and that might be the last bit of pressure they have to deal with in a first half that has been dominated by their opponents.
Yeah, most definitely. Bolton have been on the front foot trying to force the issue here in the first half, but Reading so far have done a good job at containing them. A little bit sloppy Bolton at times in the final third. You'd just like to see them be a little bit more patient at times.
Well, Simons has won this back on the aerial. Into the centre circle he goes for Osei Tutu. One last throw of the dice maybe. Only seconds remaining in this first half. 0-0 it is between Bolton and Reading. Osei Tutu cutting it inside. Simons 30 yards out. Omani is trying to block him off. Irahan goes wide to the left, and Bolton thought they were on the attack, but the 2 minutes of added time are up. The referee has blown, and the Bolton fans are letting their feelings be known. They thought they were in full flight. They have been for most of the half, but no goals to show for all that pressure. And Cameron Jerome, the word I'm thinking is frustration.
Yeah, it'd be a sense of frustration for Bolton. If you're a Bolton player now, you've got in there at half time, and I'm sure Stephen Schumacher will, I don't think he'll be laying into him, but I think he'll be saying, look guys, there's an opportunity here. You can smell it here. You can see this Reading team are there for the taking. Be patient, keep moving the ball, keep probing, go side to side, then go central. They keep being quite, what's the word I can say? They're quite predictable in their play. They keep going down one side and trying to force the issue down one side. When Reading is set there in a low blocking defence, you've got to move that defence around. You've got to put the work into the legs of the midfielders. You've got to almost beat the fight out of them to start with, and then be patient, and then when the time's right, execute that pass through the middle when the space becomes available.
Well, I was going to say it might be interesting if we see a debut for the summer signing Sam Dolby, who's now back to fitness after his pre-season injury. But to be honest, going off what you've just said, it doesn't really matter who you've got playing in that centre-forward role if you can't bring him into the game.
No, absolutely, and like I alluded to earlier, Bolton are not hesitating to put the ball into the box, but Burstow doesn't have the same presence as Dolby. Don't get me wrong, Burstow's a different type of striker, different profile of striker, but Dolby's that more physical presence, that height, and if you're putting crosses in like Bolton are trying to do, then I feel like it's inevitable you're going to see him anytime soon.
And Reading as well, we've not really seen much from their front three of Doyle, Omani, Cherewa. It's going to be, if it carries on like this, a quiet night for them, but this is where as a striker I guess you can earn your money. Your one chance in the second half becomes the goal that wins you the game. That's the sort of thing that nails down a starting spot in an 11.
No, absolutely, and I think it's all the things that come with that as well in terms of an away performance. You know it's going to be difficult coming to Bolton this evening. What you're going to have to do, you're going to have to press, you're going to have to fight, you're going to have to win fouls, you're going to have to slow the game down, you're going to have to buy your team territory, and sometimes that's important. You're taking one for the team, knowing that you're not going to get as many touches or openings as you'd like, but in saying that, you might create a space, a foul, a corner, and then that's where you've got to be alive for your opportunity, and it's that one opportunity that you might get, which is carved out from your industrious work, what you've done previously.
Well, goalless at the break between Bolton and Reading, two sides who were on the fringes of the playoffs at the end of last season, promotion contenders for much of the campaign. It's not been that way in the season so far. Reading looking for their first points of the League One season, and Bolton looking to add to the 4 they've got from the opening 3 games. They've been the more likely to score by far. Chance for Ibrahim Sissoko on his first start. He had a header at the back post that he couldn't direct back on target from across. We saw Mario Koziajubri hit the post as well. But Reading have held firm, and so at half-time on TalkSport 2 from Tough Sheet Community Stadium, it is Bolton Wanderers 0, Reading 0.
Get unbeatable coverage of all the biggest sports headlines with the Back Page Review on TalkSport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Every weekday morning from 6, listen to the Superstar Breakfast for all the breaking news you need to know, the latest views you need to hear, and the big name interviews you can't afford to miss. The Back Page Review on TalkSport with Tesco Mobile for Business. From side hustle to startup, get business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big mobile networks. For terms and verification, visit tescomobile.com/business.
Yorkshire tea, where everything is done proper. Yorkshire tea, where everything is done proper. Oh.
Maybe not.
Yorkshire, Yorkshire, Yorkshire tea, where everything's done properly. Yorkshire, Yorkshire, Yorkshire tea.
Right, enough of that. How about Yorkshire tea, where everything's done proper?
There's a Peugeot SUV for everyone and every need.
Sport for choice, I like it.
From the compact 2008, the stylish 3008, to the roomy new 5008.
Weekend adventures, here we come.
Now available on 0% APR with a minimum 20% deposit.
Sounds like a 100% match.
Book a test drive on Peugeot.co.uk. Offer ends 30th September 2025. Personal contract purchase subject to status and availability. T's and C's 18+. Excludes plug-in hybrids. Stellantis Financial Services.
Micah Richards.
Busy.
Jamie Carragher.
Busy.
Gary Neville.
Very busy.
Roy Keane.
I'm not asking him.
Kelly Cates.
Yes. Oh, no, actually. No, busy.
So no one from Sky Sports can do this radio ad?
Yeah, but have you seen how many matches they've got this season? They're just all too busy.
Fine. I'll do it myself. Sky Sports is going up from 128 to 215 Premier League matches this season. Search Get Sky Sports to upgrade today.
It's not bad, you know.
Do you want to get me on the telly? Or?
No, I don't.
Yeah. You've reached the final level. The Spicy McNuggets side mission. Maximum flavour, crispy crunch, and a spicy dip with a kick. Are you ready? Spicy McNuggets, for a limited time only. Until the 9th of September 25. Fees apply to delivery. Participation and price may vary. Subject to availability. Serving times apply.
Now it's even easier to sell for free on eBay. I was thinking, maybe I should sell that juicer we've used a grand total of once. Or the shirt I've been saying I'll wear for the last 2 years, but never have. Or that tiger cushion the dog barks at every time he's in the lounge. Oh, is that it again? No, Bertie!
With new AI listing features and simple delivery, it's now even easier to sell for free on eBay. Download the app now. eBay. Things people love. T's and C's apply. Excludes vehicles.
Turn on NordVPN. It will help you avoid digital threats and will encrypt your online traffic too. Visit NordVPN.com now. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Ultimate Sports Radio.
What a moment!
This is TalkSport 2. TalkSport. New season. More high density. Super real. Kick-by-kick commentary from more leagues than ever.
Oh, he's hit the crossbar!
Hear over 500 games of live football.
What a fantastic strike!
A new sensational season starts this August on TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
The summer transfer window is wide open.
Unbelievable!
And the battle to sign the big names is on. Listen to TalkSport and TalkSport 2 throughout the day for our dedicated transfer updates. Get all the goalmouth gossip, astute analysis, and outlandish opinion from our team of perceptive pundits. Right through until the window slams shut.
Oh, that's breathtaking!
Plus, keep up to speed with all the latest news online at TalkSport.com.
Absolutely sensational.
Transfer updates throughout the day on TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
It's the totally immersive football experience.
Right foot in. Oh, what a goal!
EFL Live on TalkSport 2.
Welcome back to Greater Manchester on TalkSport 2, the Tough Sheet Community Stadium, where we've seen Bolton pressuring Reading but still unable to break them down. 0-0 it stands, and so as it is, after what will be the end of game week 4. Reading remaining in the bottom 4 in the embryonic table down there with Peterborough, Northampton and relegated Plymouth. The Pilgrims were beaten 1-0 last night by Leyton Orient to seal a 4th straight league defeat for new manager Tom Cleverley. It's not the start supporters will have hoped or expected indeed in the 3rd tier after dropping out of the Championship last term. And after the game, Tom Cleverley spoke with TalkSport's Ian Danter.
Tom, thank you for your time. Obviously not the result you wanted. How about the performance from your players tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I had a burning anger from Saturday's performance because I thought we couldn't do much better in a lot of aspects. Conceded 3 really cheap goals tonight. You saw a group of guys who were competitive, were organised, were focused, who ultimately are falling short of the mark. So it's my job to give them the technical support. We'll try and get the extra quality that I think's needed in the market. I think tonight's a real sort of representation of where we're at quality wise. I think Bolton and Leyton Orient were two performances that you can say we're just short of the mark right now. So it's a tough one to take. We'll really knuckle down and we've got another game here in 3 days to prepare for.
That said, could you take positives from Alex's debut tonight, coming in at the back?
Yeah, I thought so. I thought he plugs a hole that we've been missing. Someone to go and win aerial duels, to make us solid at set pieces. I thought the back 4 had a solid evening tonight, which is maybe not been the case. I thought him and Benarouz, first league start in 3 and a bit years. Malachi Boateng's been our most consistent performer this season, so there are some positives to take.
What concerns you most, though?
We've not put a complete performance yet. So I thought this evening and in spells at Bolton we looked defensively and organisationally solid. We've sacrificed quality and chances going forward for that. And the 2 games where we've looked really creative, we've been leaky at the back. So my job is always the balance of that team, and where I feel like tipping the scales, the scales need tipping one way or another. But yeah, the injection of some players that are really proven at this level is going to be our aim in the last 2 weeks.
You're happy that you're going to get that support from above to get those players in that you require?
Yeah, we've been working hard to do that. It's clear to see we've not got an unlimited budget. That some clubs are spending really powerful money for this level of football. We're not one of those. We've brought in 11 new players. Lots of them young players, lots of them not played at the level. So that comes its challenges. We've introduced 3 or 4 academy players into our squad, and these are all things that relegated clubs have to go through. We're in a transition period now. We're new head coach, new recruitment department. So it's a long process. Never thought I was coming into an easy job or a gimme. But I'm prepared to, as you can see, roll my sleeves off and get to work.
Tom Cleverley there, Plymouth boss, struggling in the new season there, the Pilgrims inside the League One bottom 4, as are Reading, who are currently 0-0 at half-time here on TalkSport 2 at Bolton this evening. But camera to Rome, it just shows us how unforgiving the 3rd tier can be. Plymouth coming out of the 2nd tier, they had their struggles last season, and already they're in the thick of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not been an easy start there for Tom Cleverley. You can hear some of his words there, and yeah, you sympathise with him. Being a young coach, you want to see young British coaches being given opportunities, and he did relatively well in his first job there at Watford. And like he's alluded to there, there's been a lot of change at the football club, and he's just calling for patience and time, which I think he will get. But the game's a results business ultimately, so he has to start winning football matches pretty soon.
That's the balance, isn't it? There's not much you can glean from the first 4 games of a season, but as you say, points will earn you survival and promotion, and they haven't got any of them at the moment, Plymouth. So we'll see how that pans out over the coming weeks on TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. Now, Bank Holiday weekend is fast approaching, which means we have 3 live Premier League commentaries to bring you, and it all starts on Friday night with the action exclusively on the TalkSport network.
Game day on the TalkSport network. Here we go again.
Big London derby
of East versus West.
João Pedro with a great opportunity.
Finished at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 3, West Ham 0.
I think we all have to be better. We all have to prove we win and we lose together. It's as simple as that.
Marmoush coming forward, shooting from the edge of the area. Scores a wonderful goal.
Just first game, that is good to start, but many things have to improve.
Pep's kryptonite.
Tottenham 3, Burnley 0. Thomas Frank's tenure as Spurs boss in the Premier League is off to a flyer.
No, we'll do everything we can to beat City next Saturday.
On it back again inside the area, and Gordon could finish it here. He does.
An explosive statement has just been dropped by Alexander Isak, of course the subject of one foul bid at least from Liverpool over the course of this summer transfer window.
I'd rather focus on those players we have here. I'm sure everything off the pitch will take care of itself.
Mo Salah does what he does best. Let the games begin.
This is dream stuff.
So there you have it. Plenty of action coming your way over the bank holiday weekend. Premier League up and roaring into the swing of things, and we'll see if we can build on the excitement of the opening weekend. But we're past all that in the EFL into round 4 of games, and Reading are hoping that this one is going to bring them their first points of the season. They have got one win on the board in the Carabao Cup, but they need to try and get themselves into gear. They've done a holding job for most of that first half under plenty of pressure from Bolton Wanderers. No goals in this game, despite no lack of effort from the home side. They hit the post through a Mario Cozier-Dewberry, and we're preparing now for the second half as Reading are the first to come out of the tunnel. Still waiting on Bolton. Now we saw something interesting in the warm-up, didn't we? Cameron Jerome alongside me. Now the Reading goalkeeper, Joel Pereira, he went down halfway through the first half, and now Bolton fans were calling time wasting, and well, you never know, referees have to take it seriously. And then the way that the goalkeeper was warming up his backup, Jack Stevens, on the bench, we thought we might be seeing a change, but Pereira is there on the touchline, ready to come on for the second half.
Yeah, just observing the warm-ups of both sides there. Obviously, we're just looking at the Reading goalkeeper there. It looks like he's going through a more vigorous warm-up than usual, so it might just be the case of that he's felt something, or he did feel something. He can play on, but just being ready.
Well, it's always a warning sign, isn't it? Joel Pereira, the undisputed number 1, had that spot last season, and so Stevens, who was given his debut in the Carabao Cup last week, will they be having to call upon him? Bolton are back out now. Their white shirts fanning out away to our right, so they'll be playing towards their own supporters. Both teams will in this second period after the first brought us no goals. Can't see any substitutes lining up for either side, so it seems to be the same 11s. I'll go through those teams for you once we get back underway with confirmation. So 0-0, Cameron Pope and Cameron Jerome alongside me, high up in the West Stand at Bolton's Tough Sheet Community Stadium. Goalless, will it remain that way? If so, Reading will have their first point of the campaign, and Bolton will have taken 5 points from their opening 4 games. Remember, these two teams were in league for the playoffs for much of last season, as Bolton get us underway in the second half, looking to find that clinical edge they didn't have in the first period. No changes for either side confirmed as Osei Tutu comes forward for Bolton down the right hand flank, couldn't find any area to cross, and it's half cleared by Reading. So Bolton's 11, Sharman Lowe in goal, Conway, Johnston, Farino and Osei Tutu the back 4, Arahan and Simons in midfield behind Randall, Sissoko and Cozier-Dewberry the wide men, and Burstow leading the line. Reading have got a free kick just halfway inside their own half. Pereira still in goal for them, Brefer, Burns, Williams and Dorset the back 4, Savage, Fraser and Wing in midfield, Kamari Doyle and Daniel Cheriwa the wide men behind Marco Marni, and those three we've seen very little of them so far in today's game, as Sharman Lowe is dealt a short ball back actually by George Johnston, and suddenly Cheriwa was on top of him. Long ball down the park is right up to the edge of the penalty area for Joel Pereira. I think for my money he was just inside as he clutched that. Bolton did ask the question. And Cameron Jerome, what are you looking to see from Reading in this second period?
You'd like Reading to try and get into the game a little bit more, be a bit more braver in possession. You know, there's been times where you can think someone could take the sting out of the ball and just get the ball down and make 1 or 2 passes. You know, they've got some good technical players inside the centre midfield there. You know, with Charlie Savage and Lewis Wing and the other midfielder there, Liam Fraser. So you'd like to think that they'd be able to be a bit more brave in the second half. Now you've weathered the storm a little bit. Can you then try and cause Bolton a problem and turn them round a little bit in terms of get them off your back and get them, defending their own box for once?
Forward come ready. Not many times we've said that in today's game, as Liam Fraser has to pass back inside his own half. Out to the right hand side it will come now. Long and ambitious ball towards Cherua, who's kept it alive with his chest, holds it, but 3 white shirts set upon him, and inevitably turnover ball as down goes Ibrahim Sissoko. Then he was doubled up on. Lewis Wing, I think, got the deciding touch in bringing him down, judging by the way he's sprinted away from the epicentre. So there's no further repercussions. Bolton have taken the free kick on halfway, and there's no card to go with it. Just the 2 yellow cards in that first half, both for Reading men. There were times where that game got physical, as Bolton looking to break down a resolute defence of Noel Hunt's side, and this would be a hard-earned point as Simons comes into the middle, into the centre circle. And in the first couple of minutes of the second half, what have you spotted, Cameron Jerome? Yeah, there's a little bit of tactical switching of positions there. I feel like both wingers are doing it and both wing-backs are doing it. If the sort of wing-back, full-backs... Oh, here come Bolton, long crossfield ball, and they might be into the penalty area here. Cozier Dewberry had his head up, Burstow was there, but he couldn't find the cross to a man in the white shirt. It flicked off a defender, and then Savage able to clear over halfway. And so Cherua's got a holding job to do here, with white shirts all around him, gets it back inside his own half, and then Wing, uncharacteristically, gives the ball away. Here comes Burstow, Bolton advancing now, Randall 35 yards out, on the right foot, central berth, works it out to the right hand side for Cozier Dewberry, cutting onto his left foot, might open up a shot here and forces it around the post. Didn't quite get the angle that Curley was looking for. He's been dangerous. We saw him hit the post in the first half of Mario Cozier Dewberry, but this one is well wide of the target. It remains 0-0.
Great play there by Bolton, good switch of play by Randall, and Cozier Dewberry just cutting in there. He beats one, he beats two, just shifts his body, he's got a lovely centre of gravity, and then just unlucky with the final strike there, just past the post. But what I was saying before was the interchange between the fullbacks and the wingers. Every time the winger comes inside, the fullback goes on, and if the fullback goes on, then the winger takes the fullback's position and has some really good defensive discipline there.
Well, Pereira taking his time to set that ball going. We might see that a few times from Reading in this second half. No one has to rush though, and it's all about frustrating, disrupting, something they did well in the first 45 minutes, as in their terracotta shirts. They're actually a homage, I'm told, to Reading Town Hall, celebrating its 150th birthday, I'm told, hence the red brick colour over their shirts, and we've seen them mainly entrenched inside their own half. We've got some news, by the way, to bring you. It's being reported by TalkSport's very own chief football correspondent Alex Crook, and apparently Abera Eza is set to join Arsenal for around £60 million, and the deal should be wrapped up quickly. And apparently he's already agreed to the move, with Tottenham now pulling out of the race. Now, for all the latest on that, you can listen to TalkSport Transfer Insiders podcast, and that's going to be available from 10 o'clock this evening. What do you make of that, Cameron Jerome?
Interesting what Arsenal have left it really, really late in the window to then come in and swoop. There must have been things going in the background. It's reported Eze's an Arsenal fan, so I'm sure that would have been his number one destination if that was an option for him. So yeah, I feel like that's a really interesting bit of play by Arsenal in terms of not getting into the bidding war and getting the man what they desire.
Not missing anything here. Still 0-0 after 50 minutes on TalkSport 2 between Bolton and Reading. The ball's not left the midfield in a while. As now Bolton edge back towards their defensive third. They've got Irahan on the ball. Out on his left foot, he plays it into the feet of Max Conway. Then sees 2 orange shirts and dives straight between them. And he left a breather behind him. Referee's played a good advantage because Randall's over halfway, and then he wastes it, Joel Randall. He wastes it with a through ball straight to an orange shirt. And Savage can come forward over halfway, and he's played it out to the left-hand side for Kamari Doyle, who was then wrapped in a battle with the defender Perino, who made a good challenge for it, allowed Osei Tutu time to come and deputise, and it is Osei Tutu who clears up towards halfway. That ball stayed in, I thought. Jeriel Dorset with the chest, but to do it He had to barge Mason Burstow off the ball, who's taken a quick free kick, and now forward over halfway comes Randall for Bolton, out to Cozier Dewberry, right hand side, running at the defender Williams, back towards Burstow, shapes to shoot, deflected and in, and Bolton have their goal. Mason Burstow with his second of the season, and it's a goal that's been coming all night long. Reading's resistance broken, and it is the home side who have the lead at the Tough Sheet. Bolton 1, Reading 0.
Great little play by Bolton there, and it's that man Cozier Dewberry again cutting inside from that right hand side onto his left foot. He slows the defender down. This time he gets his head up, picks a pass, Burstow's there, edge of the box, 1 yard inside the penalty area. Touch, little lucky with the finish, I must say. Took a little nick off the defender and wrong foot to the goalkeeper, but nevertheless Bolton deserved that.
Well, it found him in the area, got himself into the right place at the right time, as good strikers have the knack of doing. And then the goalkeeper had dived one way, the ball diverted the other. It's a bit unlucky for Joel Pereira.
No, most certainly is, so unlucky from the goalkeeper. But just going back to Cozier Dewberry there, as soon as he got the ball, he's put that Reading defence on high alert, and it's, he's drawn 3 players to him there. So he's picked a pocket there to go and attack the defence, get him into the box. He's drawn a couple of players out, then he's got his head up, played the pass to Burstow, who's then finished it with a little bit of a look.
So we have a goal. 53 minutes gone. Bolton leading by a goal to nil. As in League 2 tonight, in an earlier kick-off, Notts County leading Shrewsbury by 3 goals to 1. Lewis Wing trying to mount a response for Reading, but he's been dispossessed in possession, and they can really heap the pressure on now because Bolton are coming forward. Cozier Dewberry, right-footed shot across the face of goal, and that could and maybe should have been 2-0.
Definitely another opportunity there for Bolton, and that man again, Cozier Dewberry, being sprung free on that right-hand side, driving into the box. This time he takes a shot on his right foot. Goes across goal, does the right thing, slightly unlucky there, not to hit the target, but great play by Bolton and nice positive play from Cozier Dewberry.
Well, they gave the ball away in the middle third there, Reading, and were almost made to pay. He's got so much pace, Mario Cozier Dewberry. Anyone who followed Blackburn in the Championship last season will have seen it. He's been so impactful since he came in this summer. He set up a goal in the win over Plymouth. And he's been influential again tonight as Bolton have a spot of defending to do now. Lewis Wing is on the edge of the attacking third for Reading. Kamari Doyle is shoved off the ball. Bolton fans enjoyed the tackle. Referee is given just a throw-in as Kamari Doyle is yet to peel himself off the Tough Sheet Community Stadium turf. He's landed, I think, quite awkwardly on his left side. The 20-year-old on loan from Brighton. Bit of a bright spark, but the physios have been called on. They've got to come to the furthest part of the field as well, right over on the far side. And this is a little bit worrying here for Kamari Doyle and for Noel Hunt.
Yeah, he looks like he's getting onto his feet there gingerly, but he looks like that coming together between Osatutu, I think it was there, and Doyle. I think like he's just come out second best on that challenge there. Looking at it again, I can see a replay from a monitor in front of me, so I'm peeking over and trying to see if I can find a little bit of an insight to what happened. But yeah, it looks like he's on his feet anyway, which is good news, and hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Well, you always fear, don't you, when you see the physio sprinting on, but he is yet back up and righted, Kamari Doyle. And in the brief flashes we have seen Reading come forward, he's been impressive enough, the young man. So often you see teams in League One who rely on these loan imports. We saw one of the great League One loan imports last season, Louis Barry at Stockport, and the goals he brought that propped them up in the first half of this season. Only got to look at League Two as well. Nathan Lowe at Walsall from Stoke really struggled when he left. He is still waiting to come back on, so for the moment Reading are playing a man light and a goal down as Bolton have the ball at the back. We've restarted with Johnston, chipped forward by Farino up towards halfway, where it's controlled by Dorset, not to a man in his own colour jersey, however. Gets a second chance to clear when the long ball goes astray from Bolton, and this time he has found his own man in Savage. Forward over halfway, Cherua not offside, says the assistant referee. He held it up for Marco Mani. Well, that's the thoughts of Cameron Jerome. It all came out of nothing, a long ball down the park. He was in a suspicious amount of room. What he did do was hold the ball up well, and then Marco Mani's shot was blocked And the danger has stopped from Reading, who trail by a goal to nil, and there could be more trouble for them. Dummy sold well by Ibrahim Sissoko down the left for Bolton, cutting in field now, and he's got pace on the left foot, cuts onto his right, and is brought down right on the edge of the penalty area. There's going to be a yellow card to go with it as well, and Bolton now, whenever they come forward, they seem to look threatening, and they've got a chance now from the edge of the box to hurt Reading again, and it's going to be a yellow card for Finlay Burns.
Great little bit of play from Sissoko there on the halfway line as the ball's coming into him. He's just let it roll through his legs and drop the shoulder. Defender's gone inside, he's gone outside. Driving run towards the box. As he's slowing down there, a little bit of trickery. Pulled it back onto his left foot, and the defender's just stuck his back leg there, and it's in a threatening position here. You're looking at it 19 yards out, dead centre position, so it would favour a left foot or a right foot here. But I think there's a couple here lining up for it. I think Burstow fancies this after that goal.
Well, he's got that confidence, hasn't he? That I'm sure all you strikers feel once you've hit the net. You must have that thirst for more. And he looks like he is eyeing this one up, Mason Burstow. Stood to the left of the ball. It's just clinging to the edge of the 18-yard box. Now I can count 5 in the wall for Reading. And Joel Pereira is tight to his post here, trying to make sure that they're in place. It's very central, almost perfectly so. And Bolton have a chance to make this 2-0.
Yeah, there's a couple there lined up on the ball, Burstow and Conway. I've seen Conway take free kicks in there in training. He's got really nice execution and really good feel for a football. So it'd be interesting to see if he fancies this one here as well.
So he'd be on the left foot, Burstow would be on the right, as Bolton look to open up the gap. It is Burstow, right-footed and round the wall, but round the post. And he got the swing on it, but it didn't drift back inside the boundaries of Pereira's goal. And Bolton are keeping up their threat as we see the first substitution of the night, and it's going to be made by Reading. And Ben Elliott is going to make his entry into play, central midfielder, only 22, a very young squad this for Reading, not just tonight but over the season. It's Xavier Simons who's gone off far down below us. We're right at the back of the second tier here at the Tough Sheet. So first change made. Xavier Simons, sorry, do excuse me. It was Liam Fraser, I should say, who's come on. And Ben Elliott, so it should be, you'd think, like for like swap pretty much in central midfield.
Yeah, unless Reading are throwing a little bit more caution to the wind now, because they're a goal behind, and they're thinking, right, we've got to try and put on more of an attacking player to try and get ourselves back in the game. Just looking there, it's great pressing from Burstow there, leading from the front.
Well, Burstow was right on the top of Burns there, who wasn't allowed to be freed. And clearance up for halfway for Reading, and they might try and make a counter here. Omani's seen very little of the ball, thought he might have a route through to goal there, and there is none. Cleared long over halfway, and the assistant referee's flag is up on the far side. And by the way, there was, for that free kick on the edge of the penalty area for Bolton, the referee got his notebook out and then seemingly thought better of it, because there was no yellow card that came out for Finlay Burns in the end. So, not having to play with a centre-back on a yellow card, Reading, as Bolton will come forward. 45 yards out with Arahan, and now into Randall, and he's shaping for a shot on the right boot. Oh, I thought that was in. And it's gone right around the goalkeeper and brushes against the stanchion, and it skimmed the outside netting as well. And Bolton's lead stands at 1-0 with an hour gone in this game. And the second goal in this game, if it comes, looks far more likely to belong to the home team here in Greater Manchester. Cameron Jerome.
Absolutely, you can just see both sides now adding a little bit more intensity to the game. Bolton are trying to turn that screw and try and find that second goal, and Reading have finally woken up and they're trying to commit more bodies forward, which is only going to suit Bolton. You've seen it a couple of times now. Bolton on occasions have sprung counter-attacks on Reading, and looks like another one coming here.
Here's Burstow after Randall won it back at some pains for himself in the centre circle. He's still down. Bolton continuing out to the right-hand side with Sissoko attacking and looking for their second goal. 3 orange shirts of Reading forcing him out wide. Cuts it back inside. Mario Kozier-Dewberry is shaping for the shot. It slams into Finlay Burns, who had his arms across his chest. It cannoned into the top half of his body, deflects into his penalty area, and the shouts for a penalty are not heeded by the referee as Joel Pereira can collect the ball. Bolton leading Reading by 1-0 on TalkSport 2 as the away side look to get out from the defensive third. Down to the right-hand side it goes for Daniel Cherua. Cuts in onto his left foot now, 35 yards out from goal. Ben Elliott turning, trying to get himself free, and in doing so he has pulled Joel Randall down, and the referee, who was right downwind of that, has awarded a free kick to Bolton, who lead by a Mason Burstow goal to nil. Came 7 minutes after half-time, after Bolton dominated in the first 45 minutes, but to no avail, and that resistance has since been broken. And so the hardy bunch of Reading supporters away to our right, most of whom are standing, have had nothing to cheer so far. In fact, they've seen very little of their side in an attacking situation, and having scored just once in their 3 league games so far, they're going to have to find a new dimension in this game now. 28 minutes to play.
What you have seen though in the last sort of 5 or 10 minutes, Reading, their starting position, their back four is pushing right up to the halfway line. They're trying to commit more bodies forward. They're trying to press Bolton higher up in their half now. A little bit more urgency, which is, you'd expect from a team who's losing the game.
Standing on it is Lewis Wing. Reading skipper can't find anybody forward. He has to go back into his defence for Derek Williams, and his long ball is way over all the heads. Bolton will restart from the back. They have a 1-goal lead. Forward by Xavier Simons up towards halfway, and Burstow was down for a moment as he got the shove in midfield, but he still steered the ball to a teammate. Tonight's goal scorer. Here is Simons again, back towards Farino. 10 yards inside his own half. Everybody again behind the ball for Reading, as they have been for most of this game. Still mired, entrenched in that League One bottom 4 at this early point in the season. I'll say 2-2 far side the Bolton right, just inside his own half. Drops the ball into midfield, and now they might be able to advance here. And Mario Cozier-Dewberry, he's seen the overlap from Osei Tutu, cross into the box. Goalkeeper came for it, got something on it, skimmed off his hand into midair, and was put behind for a corner by a breather.
Yeah, great little bit of play from Bolton there, and it's that man Osei Tutu on the overlap. Great little bit of movement there from Cozier-Dewberry, double movement. The left back went with the movement, he came inside, dropped deep, picked up the ball, drove, and then released Osei Tutu on the right hand side there, who delivered a good crossing, and the goalkeeper was first to that, ahead of Burstow, and defender managed to sweep it behind for a corner,
which Sissoko will take with his side. Bolton leading by a goal to nil. He's taking it short. In fact, Mario Cozier-Dewberry fancied a shot. Lewis Wing was right on top of it and blocked it away. So it's back to the corner taker, Sissoko. Left hand side on the left foot, gets a cross in towards the back stick, and the goalkeeper was back pedalling. It's cleared by Reading to the edge of the penalty area. Only relative safety. Bolton coming back for a second goal. Simons, 35 yards out, right-footed shot, deflected. It's come back out to Cozier-Dewberry. He's in the 18-yard, shoots the goal into the goalkeeper's body, bypasses Conway, out to the corner of the box once again for Sissoko. Cozier-Dewberry, 1-2 between those two, and he runs into the defender, and Ibrahim Sissoko can't advance the move. Crossed by Conway, headed goalwards and deflected, and that nearly found its way into goal. Held on to by the goalkeeper. It remains at 1-0 Bolton. George Johnston with the chance.
Slight chance there for Bolton, coming on the second phase, ball there into the box by Sissoko, and Johnston there with the header, unlucky for it to take a little bit of a deflection, which took the sting out of the pace of the ball there. Otherwise it was going on target and definitely going to worry the goalkeeper.
Reading have given the ball away in the midfield third, and then felled as Osei Tutu. Home fans are irate there, and this time the yellow card is out, and Bolton are finding speed all over the field as Kamari Doyle gets to talking to, and now does get a yellow card from the referee. I think it was fair given the rate the Bolton man was going at, as we're going to see another Reading substitution. Mamadi Kamara is going to come on, and it is Kamari Doyle who is going to make way for him, and so the wide man off, and a man who plays in a similar vein in Mamadi Kamara coming on for the remainder of this game, which stands at 25 minutes of normal time.
Light for light there, change wise from Noel Hunt. Bit of fresh legs as well, and impetus on that left hand side for Reading, and especially as the young Doyle has picked up a yellow card, it's probably the right time to take him out.
Well, Bolton haven't made a change so far, stuck with the same 11, and I guess it's a formula that's working.
Yeah, absolutely. They look such a threat going forward now. A little bit more of a final product in the in the last zone, and Burstow looks like he's having a little bit more space to run into and freedom to interchange with certain players, so look a little bit more threatening in the second half. Bolton.
Sissoko into the channel and releases Conway, crosses, and the goalkeeper was scrambling again, got a fingertip to it there. Pereira tipped it into the path of Savage, who can clear. Bolton coming back, or they might have been there, Osei Tutu, but he's adjudged to have fouled Mamadi Kamara, and so a free kick and a breather for Reading after more sustained pressure from their hosts. Bolton, who lead by a goal to nil. This is TalkSport 2, Cameron Pope and the former Bolton striker Cameron Jerome. And so far, Reading have been powerless, it seems, to stop the advances of Bolton. And they will try and mount an attack of their own here. Long ball down the right-hand side towards Abrefa, bundled off the ball there by Arahan, who has the wherewithal to see the advancing Chirua. And so forward into the centre circle for Randall. One touch to control, and the second is a long ball to release Kozia Djibouri. Pereira came all the way out of his goal. A good 30 yards he ran. Seemed to be caught between two minds, and in the end ends up left-footing it out for a Bolton throw-in, which they'll take short. Randall. They do keep the pressure on Bolton. The ball is always moving.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they've definitely increased the tempo the second half, which was needed. I said they had to have more intensity in their play, but Joe Randall's picked up some great positions. Really intelligent player. I like the way he plays in between the lines. He sort of floats between that forward line and that midfield line, and is a great connection for the midfielders to find him in space there, and he just keeps sticking the attack every single time, and he's always there, available to feet, which is a good sign. And it was his smart ball in there which forced Pereira to come out and deal with the attack.
Well, the cross from Burstow has forced another Bolton corner. Still looking for a second goal. One that might knock the wind out of Reading. And the pattern of play we've seen, 2 goals will be near miraculous for the Royals, who've struggled to get out of their own half. In it comes from Sissoko along the ground, and Burstow got something on that. And he wants a corner. He slid in for it there, the Hull loanee. Referee, who was right behind it, says no touch, and it is a goal kick. So Reading trailing Bolton at the tough sheet here by a goal to nil.
Interesting design in the corner there. All the Bolton players sort of started on the edge of the box, and it looked like it was a purposely designed corner there for it to be a low ball into the box for one of them to come on arrive onto. So interesting to see that little combination. I've not seen that one for a while.
Finn Burns with an aerial clearance, half controlled by Farino, and brought down by Arahan, who was caught there. Ben Elliott claiming he got the ball, referee not having any of it, but there won't be any further punishment, just a free kick to Bolton. 1-0 up, but seemingly comfortable. 21 minutes to go in this one. Here is Arahan, centre circle, out wide to the right hand side, collected on the knee of Kozia Djibouri. Arahan again has his head up the Scott, goes out to the right hand side once more. It's been a good outlet for Bolton, but I wonder if Reading are getting wise a little bit now. They're starting to repel the attacks that have come forth so frequently from Stephen Schumacher's side. They lead 1-0 Bolton, as Xavier Simons has no route forward. He's shut off by Oman. He has to come near side the Bolton left, where Conway will clear up towards Burstow. That's a good ball if he can control it, and he was stretching every muscle in his body there, Mason Burstow, in the 18-yard box. It was just beyond his outstretched right boot and gathered by the goalkeeper. Bolton 1, Reading 0.
Great little bit of play by Bolton there, and Conway picking up the ball there in the left-hand channel and just finding Burstow going through the middle, almost the perfect executed pass, and it was a brilliant run by Burstow. He got in between the two centre-halves and he peeled away really nice.
Here comes Abrefa, right-hand side for Reading, trying to get the cross in. Along the ground it goes, back to Kelvin Abrefa, bending one at goal, and into the hands of the goalkeeper. Best chance Reading have had so far. Cross wasn't bad, it ended up coming back to him. Kelvin Abrefa, on his return to the team, stepped inside, curled one at goal, just didn't move the goalkeeper enough.
Tame effort there, but better from Reading, much more promising there, more purpose in their attack. We're trying to get up the pitch a little bit more and try and put Bolton on the back foot. There's only one goal in it, anything can happen in football. There's only one goal. Bolton have not put the game out of reach as of yet.
It is a 1-point ball game. We've just come into the last 20 minutes of it on TalkSport 2. Bolton have the advantage. They're going to make their first change as well. And so Thierry Gale, the Barbadian winger, is set to come on. Came off the bench to score his first Bolton goal a week ago against Sheffield Wednesday in the Carabao Cup. Another goal might just seal this game, if not already, as the flag goes up against Daniel Chirua. Coming in down the right-hand side for Reading, and he raises his arms in frustration as the change prepares to be made. And so a round of applause on his first start for Bolton for Ibrahim Sissoko. Now, he was unlucky not to get a goal in the first half. Couple of chances for the man on loan from Toulouse. He's getting a strong ovation from Bolton supporters, and he makes way for Thierry Gale.
I think he can be pleased with his night's work there. First half, he was definitely Bolton's best player in terms of the creativity, getting on the ball, trying to make things happen. I think he's been a little bit more quiet in the second half. Everything seems to have gone down the other side through Kozia Doubre. So, probably the right time from Steven Schumacher to make a change. And, young Thierry Gale comes on and gets his opportunity.
We started the season, Thierry Gale, a little behind his teammates. He was brought in from the Austrian league. And he will go into an attack that's seen plenty of football and struggled in the first half to create chances. That has started to happen more regularly in the second half as Burstow is penalised for a foul just over halfway. A chance to get this ball long for Reading, which they've done a little bit more now. It was Cherua who was fouled. As Bolton hold on to this meagre advantage of a 1-goal lead. It'll be Wing going back to his goalkeeper. And a short ball to Williams as well. Looking for an option in an advanced position. Goes forward towards Dorset. Shrugged off the ball there by Osei Tutu. Referee said that was a foul. Had a couple of those now. Jordi Osei Tutu. No yellow card yet. Switch ball for Reading to Abrefa. They trail by a goal to nil. Edge of the attacking third now. Back away from goal. The chip is from Elliott down the line. It was a good idea, but the wrong execution ahead of Cherua. And gathered again by Sharman Lowe, who's still yet to properly be tested in the Bolton goal.
Yeah, it looks like an easy...
Oh, nearly given away at the back by Bolton there. The centre halves were playing it out between them. And it was short towards Arahin, who got there a fraction of a second ahead of Omani. Coming forward again, though, Reading now. The cross was deep in from Cherua. And Omani, the tall figure in the middle he was aiming for, only found a defender. And Bolton will clear and preserve their 1-goal lead.
Yeah, just saying it seems to be an easy night's work there for the goalkeeper, but Bolton are trying their best to get him tested there, losing possession quite sloppily in their own half, and Reading having a promising attack there.
Forward come Reading. Ben Elliott with a crossfield ball again, looking to switch in Cherewa, who was late for the ball and then left a little bit in as well as he went up for it against Conway, who's lying flat on the ground. Yellow card has come out for the Reading man. And the trainer's going to need to be called on here for young Max Conway, who's really taking his chance in the first team this season. Just 21, starting on the left side of defence, and Bolton fans will be pleased to know he has picked himself back up to his feet.
Yeah, it does come in nasty there. He was brave going into the challenge, and the Reading winger was just a little bit late. He had every right to go for the ball there, to be honest with you, in my opinion. He had every right to contest for that, but just slightly late, and the referees deemed it a yellow card, which it probably is. It's no worse than that, but like you said about young Max Conway there, he's been probably Bolton's best player early part of the season. Had a good progressive loan spell at Crewe last year. And it's probably been that waking up moment for him, and coming back into Bolton, into the first team over pre-season and taking his chance.
So Cherua becomes the 4th Reading man to be shown a yellow card. They're down to 10 for the moment at Bolton, because although he didn't receive treatment, Conway, the trainer was called on before he was waved back off again. And that does mean that Conway does have to take himself off to the sideline. So still waiting to get back on. Stood next to the 4th official now, with Bolton on the ball on halfway, leading 1-0, as they have done since 7 minutes into the second half. Mason Burstow's goal. Slight deflection about it, bit of luck there. As Reading, who've had no luck this season, are still waiting for the first points of the League One campaign, having come within a win of the playoffs at the end of last season. A summer of change after starting with just 6 senior players, and they are feeling the effects, it seems now, of having to defend for most of this game. They have picked out a breather coming down the near side right, though, for the Royals. Orange shirts in the penalty area for him to look to, trying to get past Gale. Turns onto his right foot, has to check back onto his left. To Elliott now, corner of the area. Cross was easily dealt with, and out for a throw in it goes. And Reading will start once more. 11 against 11 now we are. Conway has been sent back on. And we're going to see the introduction of a new Bolton man. Sam Dolby is going to be given his debut, and he's replacing tonight's goal scorer, Mason Burstow. Will leave the fields as we enter the twilight of this game. So Sam Dolby on.
Yeah, it's probably about the right time to introduce him as well. I feel like Mason Burstow looks like he's running out a little bit of energy there. He's running on empty over the last 5 minutes or so, and probably having Burstow pace, but then Sam Dolby's aerial experience and that sort of link up, what he can sort of be a target man, and Bolton can have runners off him on the
here goes
counter-attack.
Abrefa down the right hand side into the penalty area. He's got himself as well. Cross is lashed in by Cherewa, and too many people in the way. And they've had to clear back towards halfway to start the move again, but pressure now being brought by Reading. We haven't seen this much in the 76 minutes we've had at the Tough Sheet on TalkSport 2. Bolton leading 1-0. Mason Burstow now replaced by Sam Dolby, who goes into the attack wearing the number 10. And they've been light in the centre forward department, Bolton, this season, having brought him in from Wrexham. He was up in Scotland on loan back end of last season, but had a hamstring injury in pre-season. Bolton fans now get their first look at him as their goalkeeper got a look at that long ball. Sharman Lowe brought out of his goal to clear after that direct play by Reading. Reading still looking to find the goal that will bring them level. It's a Brefa into the attacking third this time now. Cheriwa has a 1-2 with a Brefa, and now he's got it in a more central berth. Playing across towards the left-hand side, and Dorset up the line towards Kamara. He's got men in the middle. Omani is lurking in the 6-yard box. In comes the cross over his head and headed away by Farino. And Reading now are starting to enjoy a sustained period of pressure that we haven't seen in this game so far.
Yeah, absolutely. They've just forced Bolton back that little bit, and whether Bolton are conserving a little bit of energy for the counter-attack or they're actually running on empty a little bit here. It looks like Reading, they're in the ascendancy. They've definitely got their tails between their legs, and they're like you said, they're having that sustained period of pressure there where they're putting Bolton under a little bit of pressure and asking questions of him.
Brefa again is trying to bring the game to Thierry Gale. It's as if he's spied a weak spot in the man that Bolton have not long brought on. He's got a throw in a Brefa here. Goes back away from goal. Thierry having to juggle. Bringing in Finlay Burns up from defence. Back to the centre circle, but still Reading in possession. 1-0 down they are. Mamadi Kamara, left edge of the box. Finds Dorset on the overlap, crossing towards the back post. Header away by Conway. It drops to a Bolton man in Dolby. And they'll clear up towards halfway, where Reading will wait to try and mount another attack. But the pace actually of Kozia Dewberry got him forward, and then he was cleaned out on halfway. And we're going to see a free kick here for Bolton. And another yellow card. That one has gone to Derek Williams over there on the far side. So now yellow card number 5. And we'll go for Reading. They won't mind how many it takes if they can get themselves back into this game.
No, it's a foul they had to make there, with his experience against the youth there. If he didn't make that challenge, then he was away on the halfway line. So it's a challenge he had to make, and he knows he's going to get a yellow card for that one. But it's not a bad foul to give away in the halfway line, considering your team was on the back foot, and Bolton was looking like they was going to spring a counter attack.
Cleared by Sharman Lowe from the ground up towards Dolby, who's a tall and towering centre forward. He's wearing orange boots and he uses them to race into the penalty area, put pressure on Pereira, who took a moment to clear. Offside down the other end of the field against Omani. Still waiting to see him really in this game. He's had very little to feed off, the man playing centre forward for Reading tonight. 11 minutes of normal time remaining, and it's Bolton who lead by 1-0 on TalkSport 2. Dolby holding up from the long ball, bounces off him though, picked up by Wing and slips it into the feet of Elliott. Centre circle for Reading, coming forward now with Charlie Savage, turns and spins out to the left hand side. Kamara, he's got the overlap, it's Savage again. Calling for it in the middle is Omani. Cross does come in, but it's too deep for him. Lewis Wing is there, right foot across, up towards the back post, header away by Bolton. Helped on its way by Kozia Dewberry, and we're going to stop play as well because there's a man down in back play. And again, Reading asking the right questions. For the moment, Bolton coming up with the answers. And it was the tall Chris Farino who went down. He's okay, and we'll have to start, you'd imagine, from the drop ball. A double change coming for Reading. They've got Matty Jacob coming on, along with Andre Garcia. So a left back, two left backs really by their natural positions. And coming over to the near side, Daniel Cherewa is coming off, and I think I've seen Gerald Dorset on the far side of the field leaving play. That would tally. It is Dorset and Cherewa who come off, and so Matty Jacob, Holoney, and Andre Garcia, just 17 years old, made his breakthrough last season, who will come on for the side chasing this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Another couple of positive changes there from the manager. They've got nothing to lose at this stage. 80 minutes in, 10 minutes plus added time to go, so why not throw a little bit more caution to the wind and introduce a few more fresh legs.
So we're waiting to start from the drop ball. If you remember, we had Chris Farino down holding his head, having cleared the line, so for Bolton under some pressure in this final quarter of an hour. We're now at 81 minutes played of this game. Celtic are 0-0 in their Champions League qualification first leg against Kairat Almaty. Notts County 4-1 up in added time against Shrewsbury in League 2. 1-0 here to Bolton. As Reading come through the gears in midfield, they have Ben Elliott over halfway, out to the left-hand side for Mamadi Kamara, trying to get around Osei Tutu. Checks back onto the right foot, looking for an equaliser. Brilliant through ball. Batty Jacob into the penalty area, fizzed the ball at the goalkeeper, and Sharman Lowe had to hold it. And all of a sudden, Cameron Jerome, Bolton are finding themselves tested.
Yeah, that's the best pattern of play what I've seen from Reading there. Really good little bit of interchange there. Kamara cutting inside and finding a lovely reverse ball in there for the on-rushing midfielder, and it's an unlucky cutback what he's tried to do on the move really, and the goalkeeper sort of read the situation and covered his near post really well.
We've got a couple of substitutions that are going to come for Bolton. Josh Sheehan and John McAtee are ready at the next stoppage in play. 82 minutes gone. And their side are leading by a goal to nil, scored by Mason Burstow not long after half-time, after a frustrating first 45 minutes. We've now got a Reading throw-in, so that Bolton double change can happen. Stephen Schumacher has looked to his bench once again, and there's a round of applause now for the man making way in Ethan Arahan. A first league start for him, the man in on a 4-year deal from Lincoln. He's made a significant contribution tonight. First time he's really been given an opportunity in League One this season, and following him off, Joel Randall is also going to be replaced. So Sheehan and McAtee coming on in their place.
Yeah, I think it's the right substitutions as well. I feel Joe Randall's had a real positive impact on the game in the final third. He's been bright, he's been brave in his positions, he's took the ball under pressure, he's tried to make things happen, and Rathan, with it being his first league start, he's pitted himself really, really well there. He's been nice and tidy, broke up some play, and just kept things simple at times.
So John McAtee on, local boy, brought up in nearby Walkden. Younger brother James at Manchester City, and Manchester City you'll have them on TalkSport on Saturday 12:30 against Tottenham. Weekend full of action as Reading come forward now. Andre Garcia, corner of the box, cutting it back, moving it quickly with Ben Elliott. Oh, they moved it too quickly, it's given away, and now there might be a chance for a counter, but Dolby's played the wrong ball. He's put it behind John McAtee. Crossed wires there, and now coming forward again are Reading, and it's Garcia. He can be tricky, and he bends it towards the corner, and it's gone in, and Reading have an equaliser. They've had next to nothing in this game, and Andre Garcia, freshly off the bench, 17 years old, has levelled up for the away side, right in front of the travelling fans. It looped towards the far corner of Teddy Sharman Lowe's goal. It's crept in under the crossbar, and all of a sudden Bolton, having controlled this game, might only be taking a point. 6 to go, and it's 1-1.
Another deflected shot which has rooted the keeper. It's wrong-footed him, he's rooted to the spot, he tries to backpedal, it just loops over him helplessly. What I would say though, positive play from Garcia. Drove at the defender, got him inside the box. That's where you want him as a winger or forward. You want to get the defender back into the box. He can't touch it, then it's your game. Shifts it onto his favourite left foot, gets a little bit fortunate with the strike and the deflection, but nevertheless positive play, and look at the outcome.
Well, a week on from getting his first senior goal in the Carabao Cup against Portsmouth, Andre Garcia has got his first league goal, and he celebrated it well. He went straight to the corner flag, right in front of the couple hundred who've travelled up from Berkshire. And that is a long journey home. Might be making it a little bit happier now. If they can hold on to this point, they've been the better side in the last 10 minutes. As they're looking to keep causing problems for a Bolton side who had it all their own way for well over an hour. And just looking at a replay of the goal, he's tried to check inside, and it is that slight deflection that's outsmarted the goalkeeper. It was looping and hanging in the air, and he was scrambling back. Sharman Lowe couldn't get to it. And Reading have got themselves back to parity with a finishing line in sight, Cameron Jerome.
Yeah, it's made it interesting his last five or 6 minutes. What's left to play here? Reading have definitely been in the ascendancy for the last sort of 6 or 7 minutes, and they've managed to get themselves on level terms. Can they go for a winner?
Well, there is time. 86 minutes we've played, 4 to go of normal time. Can't imagine there being too much added time. As McAtee races forward for Bolton, tried to play a through ball down the line, and there's more zing, there's more fire about Reading. Matty Jacob came flying into that challenge, a fair one, out for a throw on halfway to Bolton, and it's changed for them now. This game was in the palm of their hand, to coin the cliche, and it's been wrestled from them. And it's a far from ideal start to the season, might continue for Stephen Schumacher. Sharman Lowe clears, left-footed, up towards halfway where Dolby is waiting for it, beaten in the air by Derek Williams. This game has come alive in the final quarter of an hour. We've got a few short minutes left. It's sent long up towards Garcia. He fancies it. He's so up for it, the teenager. He was sprinting after it, but even he doesn't have the pace to get there ahead of the goalkeeper. So young, Andre Garcia, who was thrown in last season, having barely featured for the under-21s, and in a difficult time for the club. But, out of the darkness comes the light. You've got talents like him who probably don't be unearthed if you're not in a situation that Reading were in last season.
Absolutely. Sometimes in desperate times, you just sort of got to get bodies on the pitch, and with the youth and the academy and the players they produce, Reading have always got bright sparks around there, doing a great in catchment area, and he looks like another one what's been unearthed by them.
Here's Sheehan, 45 yards out. Bolton looking to re-establish their lead now in a crossing position, right hand side. Now Sheehan's got it.
The Monday Club on TalkSport 2.
A broadcasting juggernaut of sport.
Honestly, it's a whole different conversation.
Professional analysis.
He was at the very peak of his powers.
Yeah.
He's the master of the dark arts.
And refreshingly frank opinion after all the action.
I don't rate him at all.
I think he's useless.
The Monday Club. The sharpest minds in the business.
That is unbelievable.
Monday afternoon from 5.
On TalkSport 2.
Apologies if you lost us for a moment there. We had a technical hitch that knocked us off there for a moment, but we're back. It's still 1-1. 88 minutes on the clock. Bolton have got a corner. Far side there, right. And they have plenty of white shirts available in the middle to find here. And this would be a gut punch for Reading, having fought so hard to get back into the game. Delivery towards the back post. Goalkeeper rose, punched. And it's rolled out for a throw-in, which is a result if you're Reading. It was close to the flag, and Bolton now have the opportunity to hurt the away side again. The gate's been announced, 19,625, and the Reading fans watching on, a couple hundred of them downfield, a long way away from the action, hoping that their side can hold on to this point that Andre Garcia's goal might have earned for them.
It looks like the substitutions, for both sides, that it's disrupted Bolton's flow momentum, but it's galvanised Reading. The substitutions have been really positive, and they've had a positive impact for Noel Hunt's team.
Bolton inside their own half with Simons. Forward he goes, up towards Dolby, having to hold up the ball. Now to the near side left, Thierry Gale. McAtee is in the middle. Thierry Gale's going for goal. He went central in the end. I don't know if it was the right option. It's a routine gather for Joel Pereira. And as we've seen a few times in this game, it's certainly now likely to see in the 90th minute. He is taking his time to get rid of this ball. Goes long, downfield, up over the head of Omani. And heading away was Johnston, who was then clattered into by the Brighton lone man. Referee gives the free kick. Xavier Simons told to move the ball back. He's far too near to the halfway line. There's a couple of members of the Reading backroom staff are having words with the fourth official. Now we're about to find out the extent of the added time. I wonder if they have had advance warning of it. Forward come Reading again though. Matty Jacob out to the left hand side with Kamara. This would be a stunning comeback, an unexpected one, if they were to find the goal that would win it. They've been forced back to halfway with Derek Williams as we move into 5 minutes of added time. A little bit more will have been added on for the goal. Andre Garcia's equaliser. I'm a little bit surprised it's as high as 5. We've had a couple of substitutions, but it plays well. A few minutes ago you'd have said it played, Cameron, into Reading's hands. I'm not so sure now.
Maybe they fancy it. Maybe they want more than 5. Maybe they're getting onto the fourth official because they really think they can nick a victory here.
The way they've played in the last 10 minutes, it will be far less of a surprise. Bolton have still looked to expose frailties in their own back lines. Up to Dolby on halfway, into a scrap he's entered with Ben Elliott. Referee lets it go. Bolton have it in their own half. Sheehan, he held that very close to Andre Garcia. Does get the ball away to Farino in the end. Up to halfway for Simons at 1-1. 1 minute of the 5 added has now elapsed. Reading having come back into this game. Forward it comes to McAtee. Through ball looking for Dolby. Followed all the way by a Breffer, who has the presence of mind there to take his time and clear it, not for a corner, but for a Bolton throw-in, which is taken quickly. Gale into the channel. Looked to find a Mario Kozia-Dewberry. Didn't get there though. And it's cleared away again by Reading as Bolton start again from halfway. Sheehan it is. 1-1. On TalkSport 2, live from the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. Slow burner in the first stop. Bolton found the lead just after half-time. That lead's been cancelled out in the closing stages, and now it could go any which way. Farino on halfway for Bolton. Home fans are getting restless. Sheehan, centre circle. 1-2 with McAtee, almost didn't come off. He had to stretch for that one, Sheehan, and it's a poor ball by result. And he's cleared it out towards the corner flag. There are boos from the home fan, and the home fans in this crowd, Cameron Jerome, it's starting to turn a little bit.
Yeah, I've been here before. The fans expect a lot of this football club. It's a very proud football club with a very very deep fan base. They're well supported. They come week in, week out, home and away. It's sometimes we've had that when I've certainly been here at times where we've been expected to win football matches and you've not quite done so. The fans will definitely let you know.
Here's Gale down the left flank. Too quick for himself there. Played the ball he was going to try and run onto to get around a Breffer. Down the left flank, it went straight out on the full. And a chance wasted, or half a chance at least for Bolton. 1-1, brought back to equilibrium in this game. 2 deflected goals, and what it's lacked in attacking quality, it's made up for in late drama with that equaliser. As Pereira prepares to take this goal kick on his right foot, corner of his 6-yard box. High into the Greater Manchester sky, it drops onto the head of Kamara. Manages to bring it back through him with the help of Lewis Swing. No further though he'll go. Omani was waiting for it. It's played back to the goalkeeper by Johnston. And Bolton go long up to Dolby. Yet to make a mark on this game, the debutant. Picked up by Sheehan now, 45 yards out. Bolton fans encouraging again. Out to the right-hand side it goes. Looking for a cross here. Kozia-Dewberry into the penalty area. He's gone down. Referee shaking the head. Far side of the penalty area. All eyes were on Tom Reeves for a second. Didn't look to be too much in it from our vantage point. And Reading have managed to clear. And with the deflection of Osei Tutu, have got their own throw in. So 3.5 minutes out of the 5 added played, and it's still 1-1. Cameron Jerome.
Yeah, it's still in the swing of things here. Bolton trying to keep up the pressure and momentum, but Reading looking to see this out. Looks like it's an opportunity for Bolton to put more pressure on now with a free kick just inside Reading half. Can they find the big fella, Sam Dolby? He's used his body, he's been a presence, he's tried to make himself a nuisance since he's come on. So can they find one ball up to him and get that one last chance really?
He's big, isn't he? He's enormous in the 18-yard box. He's looming over the centre-backs. Bolton have got a free kick just inside Reading territory. And we've just passed into the final of 5 added minutes. Bolton 1, Reading 1. Bolton having to work hard for that lead, and it's been taken away from them in the final few minutes of this game. Are Reading going to escape with a point, or can Bolton steal it again? Reading setting up their line beyond the edge of their 18-yard box. Bolton have defenders forward. In it comes towards the edge of the penalty area. Dolby was the target, headed away by Williams, drops on the edge of the penalty area, back into the danger zone it goes and hacked away. It was Lewis Swing with the ball out and a throw in to be taken by Bolton. Conway level with the edge of the penalty area to Gale, looking to get this cross in on the right boot, chips it towards the back post, headed clear by Reading. Garcia controlling, he's the furthest orange shirt forward, up to the edge of the penalty area, and he's got options now left and right, and he's brought down by a scything tackle by Farino, and the referee has called a halt. Not sure whether it's for the foul or for the injury to Garcia, and I think he's going to blow the final whistle here. Yes, he has. I think he's blown the end of the game, and after the drama that we've had, it seems a rather anticlimactic ending. We have reached the end of the 5 added minutes, and I don't think it was meant to end like that. It looked like Reading were coming forward. They fought their way back into this game, but with Andre Garcia's late equaliser, and he is picking himself back up onto his feet now. He does look to be okay. Reading have managed to get their first point to the League One season, and Bolton will be wondering how they didn't win it, Cameron Jerome.
Absolutely, Bolton will be thoroughly disappointed after dominating large spells of the game. Reading kept in it. Like I said, 1-0, it's never over at 1-0. It's such a tricky scoreline, and I've been there before as a player, been in teams that are winning 1-0 and losing 1-0 and having to hang on to something or still believing that there's something there for you, and Reading did, to be honest with you. They battled, they were spirited, and they managed to hang on in, and like you say, it was the young lad Garcia coming on. It was a pop shot almost, coming inside on his left foot, took a deflection, looped over the goalkeeper and 1-1, and Reading get their first point of the season on the board.
Doesn't have to look pretty, does it? It's a results-based business, as we've said, and that's such a boost now for Noel Hunt and his side. They're still in the Carabao Cup. They've got a rematch of the defeat this weekend against Wimbledon coming up in 6 days' time, and then Wickham away on Saturday for them, who've had a torrid time down the bottom of the division, and they'll be going into that with newfound belief now.
No, absolutely, that'll be a much needed confidence boost after the first 3 games of the season not being able to pick up points, coming to one of the tougher places you're going to come in League One all season and picking up a point, and a much spirited effort in the second half. But like you say, you're going onwards and upwards. Hopefully from here it gives them a springboard and a platform to be able to build on from this point onwards, going forward.
I think on balance as well, you might say that the draw is fair in the way that Reading played the last 20 minutes, but that's the beauty of football, isn't it? You can't just have a good 75 minutes, you've got to have a good 90. It's a long old season, nothing's decided after 4, we've still got 42 to go, but it just goes to show how difficult the league is. You've got 2 teams who are up at the top end of the division, and at times today it was gritty, it was scrappy, it was physical. We had a flurry of yellow cards for Reading players as they chased the game, and so you can't take anything for granted at this level.
No, not at all, and I think that goes across all the EFL. It's such a frantic league, the Championship, League One, League Two. The intensity of these matches is watching this now as it opened up in the last 30 minutes. It was ebbing and flowing. Bolton was going for the second one. Reading was starting to believe there was something there for them, and just for their belief and endeavour and hanging in there. A young, experienced side. Fair credit to them, and that's what football's all about, really. It's about can you put the ball in the net, and Reading managed to do that the same amount of times as Bolton did, and for all Bolton's dominance and brilliance, they didn't quite put the game to bed.
It's a simple equation, isn't it? In League 2, by the way, in the earlier kick-off, Notts County got their first win of the season. They beat Shrewsbury by 4 goals to 1. Celtic deep in added time for the home leg of their Champions League qualifier against Kairat Almaty. 0-0 it is in that one. This one finished 1-1. Not much action at both ends. It was a game that was often played in the midfield, but frustrating night for Bolton Wanderers, who were unable to make good on the promise they showed in the first half. Mason Burstow got them ahead, a deflective effort 7 minutes into the second period, and that was how it remained until minute 84. Andre Garcia, 17 years old, his second goal of the season and his first EFL goal, another deflected effort, and there was no further goal to bring a winner for either side. So Reading have their first points of the League One season, and Bolton, after 4 games, they move themselves to 5 points, I should say. So we'll give you the table. There's not much you can work out from it at the moment. Bolton in 15th place. Stevenage, the side, the only side with a full complement of 12 points after 4 games. And so 6 places below Bolton we have Reading inside the bottom 4 on 1 point, and below them Northampton and Plymouth and Peterborough have no points still to their name. So thanks for joining us on Talk Sport 2. It's been a pleasure. Cameron Pope and Cameron Jerome talking to you. Over on Talk Sport, the Sports Bar is about to get underway with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy taking your calls. You can give them a ring to react to what's just happened here at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium, and the number to dial is 03717 223344, and you can also send a WhatsApp voice note with your reaction to the very same number. Coming up on next here on TalkSport 2, an episode of Following On. We leave you then with a final score of Bolton Wanderers 1, Reading 1. Both teams having managed just a single win so far this season in the league between them. We'll be looking to make a statement tonight. Still no goals. Cozy Dewberry, 30 yards out, shaping for the shot off the base of the post, and it cannons back into the penalty area. Out to Cozy Dewberry, right hand side, running at the defender Williams, back towards Burstow, shapes to shoot, deflected and in, and Bolton have their goal. Mason Burstow with his second of the season.
Little lucky with the finish, I must say. Took a little nick off the defender and wrong puts at the goalkeeper, but nevertheless Bolton deserved that.
And now coming forward again are Reading, and it's Garcia. He can be tricky, and he bends it towards the corner, and it's gone in, and Reading have an equaliser. They've had next to nothing in this game. Andre Garcia, freshly off the bench. Reading have managed to get their first point to the League One season, and Bolton will be wondering how they didn't win it.
Yorkshire tea, where everything is done proper. Yorkshire tea, where everything is done proper.
Maybe not.
Yorkshire, Yorkshire, Yorkshire tea, where everything's done properly. Yorkshire, Yorkshire, Yorkshire tea.
Right, enough of that. How about Yorkshire tea, where everything's done proper?
Party weekend, here we come, babes. You've got the tickets?
Check.
Sunscreen?
Check.
Ironic 90s bucket hat?
Check.
You've defo looked at the train times?
Checking now.
Here's something else you should check. If you're travelling by train this August bank holiday weekend, between Saturday the 23rd and Monday the 25th of August, some journeys may be affected as we make improvements to the railway. Please check before you travel at nationalrail.co.uk/August.
Hey, it's Matt. We need to talk. I'm at a different place in my life right now. You deserve to be with someone who knows what you're really worth. It's over. I'm selling you on CarWow.
With over 5,500 dealers on our site, breaking up with your car has never felt so good. Get a valuation today at carwow.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Who are you backing at York?
The favourite. The favourite.
The favourite, without a doubt. It's the E-Ball Festival at York, and everyone's backing the free favourite pull-out and the Sun. It's jam-packed with race cards, form guides and Templegates tips for all the runners and riders. Get your free favourite pull-out in the Sun every day of the festival.
No one sees your small business like you do. The feeling when that unexpected big contract comes in. The butterflies. But that's the exciting bit of it being your business. And you wouldn't have it any other way. So breathe it all in. When your business is your life, we exist to help you live. Search O2 Business.
Yorkshire tea, where everything is done proper. Yorkshire tea, where everything is done proper.
Maybe not.
Yorkshire, Yorkshire, Yorkshire tea, where everything's done properly. Yorkshire, Yorkshire, Yorkshire tea.
Right, enough of that. How about Yorkshire tea, where everything's done proper?
Your live sports station.
Oh, what a move.
This is TalkSport 2.
You're listening once again to Following On with me, Neil Manthorpe, and former England fast bowler Steve Harmison for the usual collection of news, views and interviews. Jacob Bethell is set to become England's youngest ever men's captain when he leads the T20 squad in Ireland next month. We'll take a look at the latest white ball squads named as Hampshire fast bowler Sonny Baker receives his maiden call-up. Birmingham Phoenix captain Liam Livingstone will join us to talk about his upturn in form with the bat and being on the receiving end of a barrage of sledge from his mate Tom Curran. Gloucestershire and Australia batter Cameron Bancroft will also join us, and we'll discuss a change in the structure of the 2026 domestic season. So, as usual, plenty to come over the next hour. This is Following On. Well, Harmy, I must say that if Jacob Bethell is pushed any harder, he's going to be the MD of England men's cricket next month. Rob Key will be offering him his job. It is remarkable. They said that they've recognised, they've seen his leadership potential, and so he'll be 21 years and 329 days old on the day of the first T20. It's remarkable. And I'm not against it at all. We've seen his quality once again this week in the 100. But for some reason, he does seem to be being pushed very hard, doesn't he?
He does, Manners. And he has talent. There's no question the talent's there. But I just wonder if he can drive a bus. He seems to be doing everything else. Can he fly a plane, drive a bus?
Play the guitar?
I get what they're trying to do. It just seems, it is probably symptomatic of this regime. It is that if you have a go at us, we'll double down and go even further. And the question marks of Jacob not playing cricket, only scoring 252 runs between April the 1st and his test debut, not his test debut, but coming into the last test match, not playing any cricket. Criticism from outside, former England captains have had a go, and I've had my say saying, we've got to have these players playing cricket. It just seems as though whenever you do that, this current ECB regime just go, no, we're going to go even further. Make him captain. That's it. So you're putting pressure on the boy, which is good. I quite like. I look down the list and think, what is Josh Butler going to think being captained by a 21-year-old when he's the greatest white ball player that we've ever produced, and going to Ireland to do that? The one that stands out for me, which I would be asking questions, is yes, Phil Salt probably was the right person to be left out of the ODI squad when, they had a little bit of a restructure, but his 2020 numbers have been, very good. And probably Phil Salt would have been earmarked as the captain of that group if it wasn't Jacob Bethell. So it's an exciting young team. I really enjoyed watching Sonny Baker in this 100. And Jacob's going to get a chance to captain. He's going to have that against his name. England, one of the youngest ever England captains against Ireland. Hopefully, we haven't put too much pressure on the lad.
The youngest, not one of. But what has been encouraging, Harmy, I suppose, is bucking the trend of England selectors over the last century or so, whereby you had to really, really earn your place, and however good you were, they did not believe in the mantra that if you're good enough, you're old enough. There was a certain reticence, there's always been a reticence about pushing youngsters, and Sonny Baker has been pushed as well. I mean, you almost have to say that he's being fast-tracked. Yes, he was impressive with the Lions, but he's now in the ODI squad against South Africa and the T20 series against Ireland. He's got a lot about him, hasn't he? You said you've enjoyed him in the 100. He took a hat-trick. And he's a bit different. He's a note taker, which is interesting in itself. A lot of injuries, and just like little quirky stories about he makes himself bone broth, drinks bone broth every day for the collagen, and because he wants to avoid any further stress fractures. He's had a couple, hasn't he? Were you big into bone broth in your early years?
No, I don't even know what bone broth is, to be honest. I always thought lager and Guinness was good for bone calcium and making sure that you stayed fit, because fast bowlers, there's a little bit of an element of luck. If you're a lucky bowler and a successful bowler, the likelihood is you miss the sort of the big injuries. You get little niggling ones, which every fast bowler gets. But if you're fortunate enough in wherever your career is, you miss the big ones, which is the stress fractures, the big knee operations. And obviously the back operations. If you can keep away from them, you'll have a chance. And look, this boy, I think, the thing that I'm really impressed with Sonny Baker is he's bowling the big overs. That's what really enjoys me. I've really enjoyed his character. He's bowling the start overs and he's bowling the end overs. You mentioned a kid in the top of the opener in Tom Curran. When Tom Curran came into the England side, when he first came in, and I felt sorry for him when he went out, because he had a confidence crisis a little bit. He was bowling overs at the start and overs at the death. And that is very, very difficult to do. So the thing I'm enjoying about Sonny Baker at this moment in time, he's challenging himself in such a way that he's having to think on his feet. He's having to stand up against big crowds against big opposition, good players in the cauldron of the 100 and bowl 2 sets of 5 at the start and 2 sets of 5 at the death. That takes some doing, no matter how old you are, no matter how experienced you are, and no matter how good you are. And if you're doing that at the age you're at and in the infancy of your career, stands you in good stead going forward, especially if you're going then into international cricket. So that's what I've really enjoyed watching Sonny Baker. He does it with aggression. He's relaxed when he goes and does it. He looks as though he's got a springy step, a little bit like Darren Gough used to do. I don't really want to put comparisons of Gough and in this in, but when Goughy got to the end of the game